Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome to this stream. Let me just switch to the right scene. We are not alone today. This is not the right scene by the way. Yo Sis, how you doing? Sis gonna be happy. Yo Mike, how you doing guys? Sis gonna be happy because today we have the GOAT with us. If you read the title, you know about it already. Yo Randy, how you doing brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. We are continuing, I don't know, a trend that every time I stream with you, I'm like sick to death. Like last time we did
Yeah.
stream for I believe it was set to reveals. You were laughing, like you were mocking my accent, which felt right at the time. And I told you, yeah, it's fine. It's because I'm sick. Like my nose is, I'm not able to speak properly. And then today's the exact same. I'm just like I lost the health will be good in 26 challenge, like day one of 2026. But it is what it
Okay.
is.
Okay. So
Sheesh.
health is not a good challenge. Okay.
Yeah, else is not good in 26 challenge, but it's fine. We have other good news coming. So if you did see we had Randy, you also do know what we're going to be talking about tonight. At least for the first part of the stream, and Randy said he was tired, so we're going to start with that, and then we're just going to jump on the rest of the stream. But tonight is, as promised last week, the I don't really want to call it a set 2. Oh, thank you so much, brother. I don't want to call it a set 2 tier list because I feel like we still have a lot to discover slash learn about that set. It's more going to be like a prediction for the Chinese regionals format. But still, it will
Mm.
take the form of a tier list. I should share my screen, by the way. I always forget to do this when I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
Here, no, wrong screen though.
You've been playing a lot of set 2, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Did you?
Okay. Okay. I wait.
Did
I
you
can
play a
see your
lot?
screen.
Oh, you can't?
I've been playing a lot. Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. Yeah, I do love set 2. I think it's it feels very fresh to me. Like there's a lot to test and stuff. I think it's definitely going to bring a lot of change into the meta, and there are a lot of interesting decks. So I'm not so much on the side of people who are like Draven is tier 0, set 2 is going to be boring already. Stuff. But yeah, I really do love set 2. How about you?
It's like I've played a lot of one deck and it's not good enough, so I'm kind of sad.
Ezreal?
And what?
Ezreal? Which one?
No, I haven't touched Ezreal too much yet. I've played a lot of Sivir.
Okay,
And it's
okay.
almost good enough, but
Yeah.
it's not, and it's a bit sad.
Yeah, it feels Sivir feels super
Um,
weird. It feels
she's
super
really
good to
good, but
play,
then
but like it misses that kind of like slight edge that she would need
she just
to.
struggles. If you have 3 might on the battlefield, she's gonna struggle more than if you have 7 might, which is a bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it kind of felt like Ari did feel in set 1 to me. As in, like, it feels good most of the time, but at some point it gets weird.
Yeah,
Like almost
I
good
was
enough, but not there.
yeah I was scrolling to kind of see what we did for the first, which can be interesting.
Yeah. I
What
have
was
it.
our tier list?
I have
Okay.
it. The thing is, okay, if we should start with that, maybe we should start with that. I agree. The first
I
release
sent
that
it
we
to you.
did was on Legends Reveal Day, actually, and not having all of the cards. So
Yeah, we were missing some cards.
yeah, we're missing a lot of cards. Actually, I did watch the VOD to make sure what exactly we were at when we did make that one. But I guess we could start with that one because, like, I feel like we were not that bad on a lot of stuff, but there's also some stuff that has to be changed. So let's not talk about like the point we were out at, sorry, but rather like what we were expecting that did not happen for the legends that are going to drop down, and what happened for the legends that are going to move up. The first thing is we
Yeah,
expected Azir, like both of us expected Azir to be super good.
I mean,
Um,
I thought it would be playable and good, which
yeah. To be
we
fair,
didn't
it is
do this like
playable.
S tier. We were like, this is playable and good.
Yes, sir.
If you look at the title, it wasn't like S tier or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like S, B, A tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I agree. Azir playable. It's not too good, but for I think it didn't get a single good card after the reveals, like from
Yeah,
where we
that's
were
the
at.
problem. We had when we did this thing, we had the Doran shield and we had scissors as gears for
Yeah.
Azir. And since then, I mean the yellow one drop gear is fine. Eye of the Herald, I believe. But
Yes, it's pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good. Also, yellow champion is pretty good. But aside from
Yeah,
that,
it's fine.
yeah, aside from that, we did not get a lot of C cards, and the Sig is meh. So Azir should probably
It's
drop down a bit.
in
Draven
terms
will
of
work.
tier, yeah.
Which sorry?
In terms of tier, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
not gonna be S tier. I agree.
yeah.
I think
Draven
all the thing I'm
is
looking at, yeah,
up there too.
Draven is good.
Ezreal feels good. I have the same feeling on
Yeah,
Ezreal as we talked about on Sivir. I feel like it's good, but it's not like there. Like it still misses a few cards to get there. What do you think?
it's pretty strong. I'm not sure if it can. I think we'll talk about set two meta. What I think.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, something fell. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. No
What I
worries.
think is gonna be the challenges of set two meta, and I don't know if Ezreal can answer both questions that are asked in set two. So he's like playable for sure, but he's gonna be strong. He's gonna be like he's closer to like set in tier one, in set one.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
decently playable, but it's like it has a lot of things going for it. Like I think Watcher is still very strong. I think he's like Timo maybe.
I
Closer
could
to
see it.
Timo.
With a few very negative
Um,
matchups, yeah, I could see it.
yeah. I think Ornn and Irelia we talked about, and they got the support they needed to be strong.
It's about
Uh,
fine, right? What we
yeah, and
expected
then
for this.
Sivir and Rek'Sai, and I just think Rek'Sai is suffering a lot.
Oh, you think Rek'Sai suffers a lot? I don't hate it.
I don't think Rek'Sai is that great. I think Sivir is it's better than we expected. I just think Sivir improved a lot with the purple Ezreal reveal.
Yeah. That card is just cracked. I do agree with that.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And then the bottom parts, we'll talk about it. But I feel
It's
like
pretty accurate.
Fiora is way
Fiora
better than what we expected it to
Yeah,
be.
Fiora is way better. Yeah, I think Fiora is way better than
Top of
expected, but
top.
it's still not like crazy good. So
It's one of the
it's
decks I
better,
played
but
the most, and I think she has decent answers, but we are going to talk about that. So this was the list we did on Reveals Day, which was it is what it is, but I feel it was like decently accurate. And most of the things that we got wrong were because we said, okay, we expect this to happen, and it most of the time did not happen. So I don't hate it. I think we did a good job. And then we did not get to talk on stream. At least we did get to talk quite some time, like in DMs, but we did not get to talk a lot on stream. So it's been sometimes we had all of the reveals. We had the first city challenges. We had the first Western tourneys in the Runes and Rift Cups. And now we are going to enter the Chinese regional time frame in which you are expecting to be playing, at least if you get a ticket, if I got that correctly, right?
yeah, I'm just waiting to get some more info. It's kind of I'm gonna go there last minute. I probably will try and go for like not the one next week, just because it's too soon. I have a few more things to set up.
Alright.
But the week after that, I'm gonna try and go. I think.
Alright, and then
Hopefully I get
you
in.
try to do the 3 upcoming ones, right? Like there, maybe some
Yeah,
of you
2
guys,
or 3.
maybe some of you guys don't know about the schedule, so let's just have a quick schedule update. So
So I can kind of tell you if you want. I have
yeah,
all
go
these
for
things
it.
in mind.
Go for it.
So next weekend is Fuzhou Regional in the south of China.
Okay.
The week after that, Chengdu in the west, which is a pretty nice city apparently. And then on the 31st of January, we have the Shanghai, not the Shanghai, Nanjing, but it's very near to Shanghai, I think.
Okay.
And then you have Nianmen, I think. I'm not 100% sure that's the name of the city. I think it's Nianmen, which is like close to Korea in the northeast of China. And it's going to be the last one on the 7th of February. And the next weekend, the set releases for us. And then we have Bologna and then Vegas.
Yeah, so pretty big schedule ahead. So it started 17th of January because you said next week. I believe it's 17th. And then
next weekend. I mean, not this weekend, but next weekend.
The next one,
the following one.
And then like every weekend we have a regional up until I believe
to
1st
7th.
or 2nd of February. Then
No,
7th
7th of January.
is... No, yeah, 7th, you're right. Then 14th is set release. And then 20th is Bologna. And then the week after that is Vegas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about it. So we have a lot of regionals up our plate. And also, like, this tier list is also going to be an opportunity to talk about what we expect to happen in these regionals. Aside of, like, actual deck power. Because there are some super strong decks. For example, one of those that we are going to talk about in the early ones, because it's one that shapes the format so far, is Draven. I believe Draven right now is super giga strong. Power wise too, but like from a format standpoint, it's super giga strong, and it's only going to fall off, which does not mean it's going to get like bad, in my opinion. But if you ask me right now, what do you think about Draven in the format? I could, like, pondering a lot of things, I could say probably Draven is the best deck. I believe we could have a completely different answer in amounts after like 5 regionals and a lot of stuff. But I still think it's going to be up there, don't get me wrong. But I don't believe it's like the tier 0 everyone's been talking about. Especially because we have this big concept of, like, you've also played other TCGs, Randy, you know about this. Like, an aggro deck being like decent in a format is always going to shine at the very beginning of it, because like one, players really don't know how to play their decks. So something being aggro punishes that a lot. Like, you make a mistake, you lose 2 points, and you give them 2 draws. Well, then guess what? You just lost the game. But you made a mistake. And 2, I feel like Draven is super close to Annie in terms of like piloting. Of course, there are a bit of differences, but like, if you've been playing red purple in set 1, it's very easy to jump to Draven and learn from it. And so like, people are already better at it than they will be at like Azir, Irelia, Ornn, like legends that did not exist before and that have a completely different game plan. So I feel like, yeah, this type of deck is like super at ease with the early days of the format. And that's also something that we're going to have to talk about. And potentially, I don't think there are some other decks that have that much of a bias because it's the beginning of the format, but maybe some of them do. And maybe you're going to talk about some of them and I'll be like, okay, all right, I could see this falling off or getting better over time. Do you agree on that, like that Draven standpoint? Because I feel like it's been talk of the town for like the past week or so.
I think Draven is really weak against removal. Simply like Singularity, Rain, maybe even Falling Star, like this kind of stuff is very strong into him. Even the yellow, like Battle's Breath Watcher, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, the problem is the next most popular decks are Irelia and Kai'Sa.
Mm-hmm.
And Kai'Sa is not really weak to removal, she's okay into it, and Irelia is very strong into it. So the issue is, if you have Irelia and Draven in the formats that are very represented, then you have one deck that's loose to removal and one deck that beats removal very easily, and your deck has to be able to do the 2 game plans of beating Irelia through aggression, maybe even combat, and beating Draven with removal. And it's gonna be difficult for most decks to adapt. Like we talked about Ezreal earlier, I think Ezreal can play one of the two game plans very easily. Like he can play all the tricks, Frigid Touch, all that stuff, some removal. But then the deck becomes hard to fit units. Or he can play like a decent, like I think Ezreal can beat Draven, and I think Ezreal can beat Irelia, but I don't think Ezreal can beat both
at the same time,
reliably at the same time, which is like the main issue and the main difficulty. Same for Sivir, kind of. Sivir doesn't have removal, but she can beat Draven in combat. She can also beat Irelia, but I don't think she can do both at the same time. And Kai'Sa is a bit of the same, right? She either has more units and then she beats Irelia, or she has more removal and she beats Draven, but she can do both that well. But Kai'Sa is really good into all the other decks, which makes her a bit better. And I think that's going to be the difficulty in set 2. Find a deck that can beat a big deflect unit, but also not rely on combat too much and kind of avoid losing to Draven, killing your stuff in combat.
Yeah. The format feels a lot like a rock, paper, scissors so far. As in, like, Draven beats combat, sort of. Combat is, as in, like, no, Draven is combat, rather. Is getting beaten by some removal stuff, and removal is getting beaten by deflect. And, like, we have that kind of a loop that A beats C, B
Yeah.
beats no, A beats B beats C beats A, and we have some outcasts, as in like Victor Control, Fiora
I mean,
even.
it is removal. I
It
think
is
Victor
removal,
Control
but
is
it's
full
to the
removal,
point I
right?
feel like we can't really. It does not lose so hard into deflect, which is why I would not put it exactly in the removal section because of yellow. Like Cold Awake and stuff feels better into Irelia than Kesa does and the removal decks does, as a whole. So
Yeah, I guess so, but it's not great either. I
it's not
think.
great either. Yeah, it's a bit of an outcast
Yeah.
in my opinion. But we're going to talk about all that. So that was a long introduction, but I feel like the context is also really important. Also, something that I've seen in the chat, and of course, we've been saying this over and over again, but let's just do it one more time for those who would not be aware. Chinese regionals are best of threes, as
No, not. Oh yeah. Okay.
they are for us, but city challenges are best of one, which makes it so that some decks have weaknesses that they can fix through sideboarding that they don't in these formats, and opposites. Some decks have weaknesses that get super weak if opponent is using sideboards, but then if you're in a best of one format, you don't see this card. Let's say I'm going to pick a random example. This is not what's happening, but let's say Azir is top of the pop in best of one and like Giga performing. Well, if people tend to add thermal beams in their sideboards, most likely Azir is not able to win both game 2 and game 3, whereas in best of one, that's not that much of a problem. So this is also something that we have to take into consideration. But it still gives us a decent trend, and I feel like Chinese people are doing a better job at exploring their options than they were in set 1. Maybe you know more about them because you have connections there, Randy. But in set 1, it was a lot of like Yi and Kaisa, and that's about it. They missed on Annie, some of that stuff. I feel like
I
right
don't. I
now
don't. Say,
they
I
are
think it's.
playing a lot of
I think
stuff.
it's. I think it's unfair to say the Chinese players didn't play Annie. I think the Chinese meta was like mostly Master Yi and Victor. I think Victor and Master Yi were very popular in China.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both of those decks shit on Annie extremely hard compared to the Western meta, which was more MF and Kaisa. So I don't think they didn't explore Annie. I just think Annie was not really playable in their meta because Victor, really good into Annie. Master Yi, really good into Annie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I think that's the main reason why they didn't explore. I don't think it's like they missed it. Maybe they did also, but Annie was played at the start of the format. It's just like if you have to take Annie into a room full of Master Yi, a few Victor, and some Kaisa, you're probably not getting out alive.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of both, but I feel you. I've been a big advocate of Master Yi crushes Annie, and then we have the Houston finals. And I'm like, the only way Annie wins this one is if they rebuke Yi into Oblivion. They have the rebuke sabotage and they top deck rebuke, and I'm like, guess we're winning that one, huh?
Yeah, and also it's like Aura Yi, so it's not that great into Annie compared to normal Yi,
Yeah,
right?
true.
But I think China was like you can't expect if you're Annie to win into most Yi on repeat. Same for Victor.
Yeah,
So it's like I don't think it's you would do that well with Annie in the Chinese meta for Shanghai, for example. Like it
yeah, I
was
do agree with that. But
it's
then,
unfair to say that if you took Annie, you would perform there because I don't think that's real.
yeah, true. Hello everyone, by the way, yo Grotos, yo Zach, yo everyone, yo Kenji, thank you so much for the follows, Papix and Ebskio. So yeah, the thing that I wanted to push, instead of them not finding Annie, is that maybe you've seen it, maybe you did not, but I did, Yore. I did make a guide for each and every of the Spirit Forge Legends, as in like an early guide, right? Not something like giga competitive, but like if you want a baseline deck list that's functional and an idea of how the deck should play, here you go. So about like 20-ish minute videos. And while doing my research, it turns out I found a lot of like interesting things in thanks to Riftdex, by the way, super good website. In the decks they were trying, like there were different stuff, even for like each and every legend. Like there were very different Ezreal builds, there were very different Sivir builds. So I feel like they're doing a super good job at exploring the format so far, which I was kind of expecting to have surprises at Bologna. I'm not so convinced that we'll have some. I think most of the format is going to be solved by the end of the Chinese regionals.
I think 4 events is a lot as well. I don't know. I think there are some decks that might not be explored. I just also think it's gonna be very different for us because they don't have metal cards in those regional. They're just like 500 people events, maybe 1,000. I don't know if it changed. I need to double
Oh, they
check
don't
that,
have
but
metal
they
cards?
don't. No, it's not regional. So what they call regional. So for now, what we call regional and what they call regional is different. They call regional the smaller events, and
All
then
right.
they call national qualifiers the bigger ones. So, for example, the four first events that we had were not regionals. They were called regional for them, but they're not regional for us.
All right.
And then they had the national, which was the equivalent of our regional in Houston. And so they don't actually have a national before Houston, I think. Or maybe the same weekend. I think the same, it's a weekend after Vegas that they have their national.
Yeah.
So those regionals are smaller and there is no incentive to bring a Lux deck, for example.
Okay, that's
So
good
I
to
think
know.
our meta will have more jungle, so more people playing like for metal cards and stuff than they will
Yeah.
because they don't have those for this event. So that's also a big thing that's gonna be different for us.
Yeah, okay,
So I
super
think
good
you
to
need
know.
to take a deck into Bologna that's better into the general random decks than you would need to take into China, right? Maybe I'm taking, I don't know, I like Severe, I like Lux, maybe I'll take Lux or Severe for a metal card in Bologna, but I can't do that. If I go to China, I have to play Draven, Kesa,
Yeah, you have to try
Stevie
and win the
Azrael,
events.
Azir, Annie, whatever, like one of the best decks, right? Or
Okay, gotcha.
maybe Irelia. There's no point for me to bring Lucian.
Yeah, okay, makes a lot of sense. Good intel, by the way. I did not know about that, the no metal chords thingy, but yeah, that does shape a format. Is there anything context-wise that you would want to add, or
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I forgot. Maybe they have metal cards now, but it wasn't the case for the first, and
no,
I
no, no,
don't
you,
think they
you,
do.
you, you probably are right. I just had no clue that they did not even have this for the first regionals. That's great intel, and also, yeah, definitely is going to shape people's picks. Is Randy an Azir believer? We used to be Azir believers. I feel like if you're on the same page as me, which we've been on Azir since it got released, it's like playable, but not top of the pop. As in, like, it feels good, but compared to what I was expecting, it's not as great as I was expecting it to be.
It's a bit worse in practice. I think Azir suffers a lot from purple because Gust hits very hard,
Yeah,
and also he's a very aggressive deck, and I don't think that's like very good in this meta. Like I just think he's very aggro compared to what I expected him to be. So
yeah,
it's difficult. I think Azir is not the greatest. Like he doesn't have that much draw power. He's very aggressive, very all in early, and I think hard bargain is a huge problem for him because he wants to cast a rise before he gets to 10 runes. So he really loses pretty hard to hard bargain and gust, which are two purple cards, and purple is gonna be pretty strong set too. So I think he's a good deck, but in context, he's gonna be much worse than he could be.
I could stand behind that. Just quick warning: Oral Bargain. I'm never going to consider that course. I tell you what, I hate it. It's so bad. I really do hate it.
Oh.
Like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Yeah, let's play a chord that is completely useless when I'm not in the lead. Love that. I hate
And
that
no, you
chord.
just if the opponent has open runes less than 4, you can push into any battlefield, and no matter what spell they activate, you can counter it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, potentially in Annie I could see it, but like Draven's playing this, I'm not in the train.
It's yeah, you kind of have to for some removal. Like you want to hard bargain like singularities, this kind of stuff. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's not. I feel like yeah. We'll talk about. Let's start. If you don't want to add anything into the context ports, let's start with the decks. There's two ways we could do this. We have to talk about the tiers too, but like there's two ways we could do this. The first one is alphabetical order, and then like we just rank them. The second one is like we start with the tops and then we go down because I feel
What?
like tops are what dictates the format. So which one do you want to go
So
for?
I did a tier list with my Mentafy subs yesterday, like kind of
Oh,
big tier list set format explanation
mm-hmm.
introduction. And what I did
Live?
is I introduced every color, and then I went by like color pair. So I went Master Yi and Jax at the same time. Master Yi, Jax, and Lee Sin.
Okay,
Then
we
I
could do
went,
this.
I don't know. So it's like it's good because you also compare the different legends and leaders
Yeah,
that
I
have
don't
the
hate
same
it.
colors. to one other. We can do like Ari plus Ornn, for example. I think
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah. I don't hate it. So that way we get to some have very different playstyles, but like when we're talking like
some are very similar. Yeah.
orange green is a super good example. I feel like all three of these decks want to achieve somewhat the same thing, and there's one that's definitely better than the other one. So yeah, that's a good way to do it. Let me just sort them so we can do that, and let's talk about the tiers in the meantime. So pretty easy, but once again, quick reminder: we are talking about what we expect to happen in China. So I decided to create tiers based on like tournament placing. So we have something very concrete and not like too abstract. So winner slash winners is the decks we expect to win at least one of the 4 regionals. Most likely there's like maximum 3 of them, right? Maybe less than that. Then tops is a deck that we definitely expect to be represented and to see some topping results, but probably not able to go all the way. Maybe because of one bad matchup in the top decks, maybe because of consistency issues. There's a lot of like options for what could go wrong. Potential is this one is not too bad. I feel like Seaver is a pretty good definition of this. Like I'm pretty convinced we'll see 1 or 2 Seavers in tops. Is it going to be a regular thing? Probably not. So potential is exactly that. Then bad pick is like you probably don't want to pick this, and Dimeshia, as we usually do, is the trash tier of the tier list. Anything you want to add to these tiers, or we are fine with that?
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I tried to make it more concrete than last time, as in like we exactly know what we're talking about. Let me just sort these legends real fast. So Azir, Leonair, Darius. Which one is red yellow in set 2?
Rek'Sai.
Where's
Middle,
Rek'Sai? Yeah,
middle
yeah,
second line.
Yeah, thank you. Ez is Timo. Then we have Fiora and Seth and Garen. Then we have Irelia that goes with Yasuo. We could put it maybe a bit more on top, because I feel like Irelia we need to talk about in the early part of the list.
Lucian at the end.
Which one?
At the end, I said. And then Lux, Renata on the
Lux,
right.
Renata, Victor, and then Seaver, MF. And I think we're good to go.
Okay.
I think that's a clean one. So let's start with Harry. And Ornn. Should we do both at the same time? Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, I think they're different, so we can kind of introduce.
Yeah.
I think Ari in set 2 doesn't get much. She gets not so fast, which is decent.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like she doesn't get many new like Twonk is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But the issue is she's a combat leader, and Draven also, so she will suffer from removal as well. So I think she doesn't get much better, and she also gets worse because of the context.
Yeah.
So I think bad picks.
I would agree with that. Something that we could not note is that green decks in set 1, especially thinking about Mastery, because it was the good green deck, but all of them had a pretty good time into combat, aside from Rebuke. Like, Rebuke in set 1 was a big problem for these decks. Biggest one obviously being Mastery. And the fact that you can't redefy it, you most of the time don't have the runes open to try and win-wall it, was a problem. And I've seen some people talk about like, yeah, but not so fast is going to solve that issue. As in, we have a cheaper way to counter Rebuke. Maybe I should pull up a gallery so you guys can see what I'm talking about, like what we were talking about actually. But not so fast. The problem is you can't really include, like if you want to build a green spell-centric deck, you can't really have the room in your deck to include defies and not so fast and combat tricks and good units and draw power. And so you're kind of trying to do everything but nothing good at the same time. And that leads, the fact that green gets more options in set 2, in my opinion, does not necessarily lead to green being better into some of them cards. And I completely do agree with you. I feel like Draven is a big problem for Ahri. So if you're a combat deck and you lose into the better combat deck in the format, I feel like you really don't have an edge. Also, one of the better green spell users, which Ahri was, has shifted to Irelia now. I feel like Irelia is super good and plays a somewhat similar playstyle of like not dropping too many units, having a lot of runes open to play spells. So I feel like compared to each and every deck, Ahri does not have an edge, which is why she's probably a bad pick. Still feels playable.
Yeah.
I guess it's not like guaranteed, right?
I would say Ari is like not the greatest legend ability, not the greatest champions. Nothing really going on for her. She's
Yeah,
okay, but
exactly.
she's not great. It's kind of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ornn on the other hand, Ornn, I like Ornn. I think he's in potential.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Maybe even in tops. I think it depends on how prepared people are for him. I think Ornn wins most of the game once he will enter. It doesn't have many good battlefields, which is an issue, but he is pretty strong into Draven, really strong into Kai'Sa,
Mhm.
like at least pretty decent. Um, he's very stable for deck. I think Ornn is a pretty decent deck. He suffers a lot from Thermo Beam and Donwell,
Yeah,
so that's the main issue because I think on you can't really play unless because the thing is you really like you can technically counter thermo beam, but the problem is you on the turn you play on, if they thermo beam on that turn you don't have the rules to
yeah.
actually counter it on the following turn.
And if you
So that's the
don't
big
play Ornn
issue.
on that turn, you're too far behind to ever come back.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
it's like you have to kind of burger flip the game and not
yeah.
on them not having thermo beam immediately. I don't like that, so but everything aside from that, I think Ornn is very strong. If you survive that turn, you're winning the game most of the time.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Something interesting with Ornn is so far, as you mentioned, I did do a lot of testing. I did dig a lot into like some potential decks and stuff. And Ornn is one of the decks I feel like is so far from being resolved. Like there are so many options for this deck that I completely think it's possible to see a Ornn build that plays some weird ass stuff that pops off, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, this was the answer for that Ornn turn. And when we find it, Ornn could make a jump. So
Hey,
far,
maybe I have a secret own deck I'm not talking about. I won't
yeah,
leak my secret and my source today, so
you
maybe I have an own deck in my bag.
yeah. Like I feel I'm not talking as in like some pro told me it's super good and I should not talk about it. I just felt from personal testing that Ornn is far from resolved. One of the deck that is further from resolution, actually. So yeah, I really do like Ornn too. I do agree with the thermobin problem, which is probably the biggest problem for this deck. And also
The main
sometimes the rebuke is a problem because like you're kinda slow. You have tools to accelerate that early game. You're kinda slow, and so sometimes they, if you don't see the not so fast, they just win the game because like you push with Ornn, they use rebuke, they recycle like a billion, and then they just win because you're just too slow and you don't have the not so fast. So that's also a problem, but it's basically the same, right? It's either you drop Ornn, they beam, you lose, or you drop Ornn, they rebuke, you don't have the counter, you lose. It's sort of the same issue, I feel
I
like.
think you always have the counter for rebuke. I think it's fine. You play like 3d5, 3 not so fast and 3 win wall. And you can defy the rebuke, but you can defy like if they hard bargain with rebuke, if they fight or flight with rebuke.
You want to play
I
three
think
not
you're
so fast and three win wall in the main deck? I
not
did
in the
not go
main deck,
that
probably
far,
three.
but then yeah, maybe you probably have the counter, but
I will probably have 3 not so fast post sideboard just
yeah,
so I
yeah.
can rebuke, not like so I can win all other stuff. 3 not so fast in the main deck, probably I will have.
I'm on two right now, but I could see three. It's a card that I do like, and I have one in the sideboard too. So yeah,
I really don't think there is a downside to seeing not so fast as one or more copies, so I will say I'd probably play
yeah. But still,
more than 2. I will likely be on 3 in the main deck, I think.
also my problem with that
But the thing is,
is you can't really expect to be the one drawing the most. It's a bit of the
oh,
same
you
for
can.
Azier, as
No,
in
no,
like,
you can.
but
I
if you're
think
into
that's
Draven or stuff, and you have to go like, if you draw the beam, I have to draw the wall. They are the one drawings in the early game. Like you're not
uh
really drawing a lot aside from the cookie, and they could
I
draw
don't
more than
agree.
that.
I think Ornn should play all the draw spells. I think Ornn plays meditation. I think Ornn plays find your center. I think Ornn plays a cookie. I think Ornn plays consult the past. I think Ornn plays mostly draw spells aside from the equips and the counters.
But you want to go like meditate on turn one. I mean,
I mean, if you want to draw, yeah. I mean, you
because
don't want to, but if
aside from cookie, there's not many. Like I do agree with the draw spells, but like console the pass, you really don't want to cast for four. And then into
why
Draven, you
not?
also really don't want to give a like body in the early game to give them a combat win. So I feel like it's more of a later on card into Draven, if you want to play it
Eh,
Eden at least.
I think Draven won't draw a single card until maybe he has stack deck, but that's it. Until you start
is the problem.
impacting the board. But he's gonna draw one card, and then you drop the Orn, so it's not like he's gonna see that many cards either. It's a 50-50 for him to have the B, I think in most cases.
I got it with Kaisa on turn 4 in base, which on Orn you can't do a lot about. Then I'm on 5, can't do much. And then on like 6, they go Kaisa to a BF, right?
Yeah.
Draw 2, move Kaisa back to base. And I'm like, okay, this is already pretty serious. Like, I need to play now. We have problems. So, depends on how many rights and cases they play. Because I've also seen Tierlist not playing cases.
Yeah, but then, I mean, it is what it is, right? But it's draw 2 cards and they don't have that much. Like, it's okay. If they beam, if you find the beam, maybe it's like more than, it's a bit more than 50%. Like 60, maybe 65% to have the beam if they play 3 of it.
Yeah.
But then what are they playing beam into, right? Azir and Ornn? I'm not sure people will respect that. So I could see on top. They have to, but I don't know if they will sideboard it because they have to answer the mirror, they have to answer Kaisa, they have to answer Irelia, which is going to be more prevalent. Maybe they have to answer, I don't know, Yasuo, Sivir, Ezreal. All those decks that are going to be Victor as well, the Victor control decks.
But if we want to, like, let's say we have a sideboard and we have to bring him the beams for Ornn, Azir, are they that bad in the mirror? Probably, like...
Yeah. They're unplayable in anything else. I think maybe Irelia they're decent into, but that's it.
Yeah, I feel like they are decent in the mirror and Irelia. Like, not good, but decent.
Oh no, not in the mirror. In the mirrors are way too slow.
Alright, I could see it. I mean, they're good when you are the one playing with the boards. I mean, good, no, decent. But yeah, when you're going second, they are pretty bad. It's about... I feel like Draven, weirdly enough... Okay, we'll just talk about it when we talk about Draven. But weirdly enough, it's the first deck I want to sideboard differently when going first and going second. I feel like the gameplay changes completely, but like, whatever. We'll talk about it later on.
We can talk about Draven and Annie now before we talk about...
Yeah, we can talk about Draven and Annie, because they are big, like, big elephants in the formats, of course.
I think Jinx you can put in bad picks or Demacia. I think Jinx, like...
Nah.
It's better than it used to be. You have Ezreal, but it's like not what you want to do because why would you play purple red and draw cards when you have better draw cards, like better legend, better champion?
Yeah, it's just too bad compared to the other red purple legends anyway. So even if it was good, like it would be worse.
Yeah, she offers draw, but Draven also does. So why not? Annie, I think is kind of the. I expected her to be very strong, and then I look at it and I'm like, there is literally almost no card that she wants to play from set 2 in her deck. Like she has a few, but it's marginal improvement. I think the longsword is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Everything else is like gimmicky, is not that great. So she doesn't improve that much from set 1. So I think she will be in potential or top.
Yeah, she's in top.
You can put it. I think she's underplayed in China, so I think it's probably top or maybe just potential because she's not played that much. So people who will probably prefer to go for Draven in the red purple deck.
Yeah, that could make sense, but I believe it's power-wise it should be there.
Yeah, it should be this. And then Draven, pretty good, pretty strong, draw cards, win combat. The axe, like the spinning axe, is a very, very strong card.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And I think Reverse Draw is a disgusting battlefield for Draven, so I think that's also where a lot of his win rate comes from.
It's giga good, I do agree with that. First with Annie, before we jump onto Draven, because there's a lot we have to talk about regarding Draven. There's a build I did not try, but maybe you did, in the like Gael build of like downwell gimmicky Annie.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, in my opinion it's not working, but I wanted to make sure before saying anything like slanderous.
I don't think it works. I think the control decks are completely fake in those colors. I think if you're control and want to do like this kind of stuff, you probably are better off doing Kaisa.
Yeah, or even Victor.
Or Ezreal. I think Ezreal, Kaisa, and Teemo are better control decks than Annie.
So we are talking about set 1 Annie, basically, as in like aggro-ish Annie. As you mentioned, not a lot of improvements. Hard Bargain is one of them. I'm not a fan of Bargain, but in Annie, with the 3 runes, I could kind of see it.
I think Bargain is good only in offense. I don't think Bargain is a good defensive card. I think Bargain is good so you can push. It's either good to counter big turns from the opponent like Singularity, Time Warp, Rain, Dunwell, Thermo Beam. This is good to counter. And then it's very good when you push because you have the Bargain in hand, you have all your runes available, you enter, you do a bunch of stuff, they do a bunch of stuff, and then they do a big spell like a rebuke, very important spell, and you hard bargain, and you repeat, and they can never like pay for it because they already spent most of their runes.
Yep.
I think that's very strong. And then you just win combat, and winning combat into a lot of decks right now, if you trade multiple tricks and then win combat is like a huge blowout. So I think in that sense, hard bargain is pretty strong.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think keeping 2 up for hard bargain is ever gonna work. I think it's pretty bad,
no, I do agree with
except
that.
for time warp.
I think it's the pretty much the only upside Annie has compared to set 1, because I believe she's pretty much the only deck that can make bargain function consistently. And if she's in a spot in which bargain does not function, which means she's playing from behind, she's most likely losing anyway, so bargain is kind of not the
I
problem.
think if you start using bargain to trade 1-for-1 with Annie, you're probably losing the game. Just because Annie doesn't really draw card. Like the way you would win with Kaisa into Annie, and the way you do win into Annie right now with Kaisa is you trade 1-for-1 all your units and spells, and she can't keep up because she doesn't draw compared to you, like enough. Except on the game 1 zone runs, where she draws a lot because of Scrap Heap. And I think if Annie in set 2 tries to play 3 hard bargain and kind of counter your spells during your turn to force you to lose tempo, it's a decent idea, but she will run out of cards.
Yeah, you probably don't play 3 of these, but the fact that
So-
this card exists forces a
Yeah.
few things. Like, if we're talking like set 1 matchups, Kaisa, Annie, sometimes Annie was aggressive enough to force you to use somewhat of a rain on curve or something like that, to try and clear like 1 Kaisa that they did set up plus something and not let them get to 6 points. And then like
think
in
it's
these
decent
spots,
to-
there's an advantage in playing bargain.
I think it's more like, oh, they Falling Star you on turn 2, well, then let's hard bargain
Yeah.
immediately and they have to pass turn. I
You can
think
do that
this
too.
way it's better. I think hard bargain is very, very good on the early turns when you push, because the runes are very important on the early turn because you don't have that many. So if you cast a spell for 2 and then you have to pay 2 more to finish the cast, it's pretty costly.
Yep.
So on that note, I think hard bargain is strong. I think the issue is you can't afford to do that with most decks, and I think Annie can't afford to do that because she doesn't draw enough. So that's the reason. That's my thing for Annie. And then Draven,
Yeah.
I don't wanna talk too much about. I think he's just straight up very strong. The numbers are
Yeah.
very good for him. Rebuke and Fight or Flight are disgusting cards.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
there's a reason why Annie was good in set 1. It's just she had access to 2 disgusting cards in Rebuke and Fight or Flight. And I think Draven abuses those cards even harder, and I think that's the only reason he's strong.
Yeah.
I think if you don't let Draven play Rebuke and Fight or Flight, he's like really trash, unplayable, like almost unplayable. But I think because of Rebuke and Fight or Flight, the fact that you can play a trick, trade tricks 1-for-1 like hacks, cleave, all that stuff, and then you just end the combat and say, okay, I will just rebuke your guy anyway, or I will Fight or Flight your guy, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why Draven is that strong.
I do agree with that. I think Draven is super strong too. I think overall it's just a great deck, right? Like lots of draw power, pretty good accelerate bodies, pretty good battle tricks, maybe the best there are. Of course in the Rebuke and the Fight, but also the gears, like the signature equip is super strong.
I just don't like it personally because I think you keep, like in Draven, you have many spots where you're just flipping the game on turn 2 or 3 in a big combat where there's like a lot of spells exchange, and whoever wins that combat is like the win. So either you just don't fight Draven, or you go into a big showdown where everyone just throws everything at the opponent, and whoever wins is usually the victor of the match. And I don't really like this game plan or idea, so not for me probably.
I
Unless
don't
it's so
hate
strong
it.
I can't beat it.
I don't hate
then I play
it.
Draven.
The thing is, from my perspective of playing games with Draven a bit, to try and understand what the hype is all about, because I was not like super giga hyped. At least in the early days of the format, in which like you can have that edge of being the better player in X matchup, I feel like Draven is a pretty good pick because to me it felt like, except if they draw like double Rebuke Fight and you draw nothing, which is not supposed to happen because you're playing Draven, right? You draw lots. Aside from these games, most games tend to be very skilled, weirdly enough. In the mirror, I'm talking about. Like, there are just some decks you stone, but like in the mirror. And it felt like most of the time the better player, or at least the one that understood the interactions better, would win that one. So I think in the early days of the format, maybe Regional 1, Regional 2, Draven is a pretty strong pick. Aside from that, I think I already mentioned it, but I think it's only going to fall off. Especially because beating Draven requires a super sharp game plan. As in, like, you have to dodge combat. You have to, when you decide to engage in combat, be aware of what exactly they can do and can't do. Be it might-wise, be it spells-wise. Like, there are a lot of things you need to know. But
Uh,
once you know them, there are some decks, and we're going to talk about Irelia, that can almost completely deny that combat port and have very good answers to the purple spells, while also being able to play the purple spells themselves. Which
I
kind of feels like when you have that sharp game plan into Draven, the more we are going to have games going on and better players, the worse Draven is going to get. Does that mean it's going to be not good? I don't think so. It's still going to be a strong deck in the format for sure.
yeah, I think Draven. I think Draven is much easier to counter than Kai'Sa was, because Kai'Sa can just say, "Oh, I will do nothing this turn, and if you
Yeah,
push, I shoot your stuff, and if you don't push and develop, I rain your stuff."
yeah,
And I don't think Draven has that option, as that disgusting of a game plan. I think Draven is disgusting on the reverse row game, because you have to go in, fight him, and then he comes back. And usually it's never a good choice to stay on the reverse row and you give him a card. And I think that's pretty disgusting.
yeah,
Um, I think that's the main thing that, like, beside Rebuke and Fight or Flight are helping Draven.
yeah,
I think he's strong. I think he's gonna stay a force for the format.
for sure.
But I think decks can adapt to beat it. I just don't know if those decks are gonna beat Kai'Sa. I don't know
I
if they're gonna beat Irelia.
I feel like it's more about players than decks when we're talking Draven, but I see what you mean.
I mean,
Just
if the opponent has like a Draven on the battlefield and you can't move him,
yeah,
well, you're on a clock, and if your deck can't handle like the clock, you just lose.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter
you
how
have
good
to
you
have a
are.
good strat against it. But the thing that I wanted to answer the most is that it's going to feel very frustrating to play into Draven if you're like at locals and stuff and you don't really have like so much knowledge of what's going on. And you're going to be like, okay, but he just goes Kai'Sa and then goes Axis and then draws two and generates a gold and whatever, and I just lost the game. Yeah, true, but also most of the time you can avoid that and you just did not plan ahead, which is fine. Like, it's the beginning of the formats, but the talk of like
Yeah,
Draven needs to be banned, I don't agree. I strongly disagree with that part.
yeah, I just think it's a reverse row game that's an issue, because you
Yeah,
can't actually avoid combat.
but
You
then if
have
you
to
want to
fight
ban
him in
anything, it would
reverse.
be Reverse Row instead of Draven, in my opinion. But
I think reverse is pretty disgusting for Draven.
yeah,
Okay.
I agree with
Anyway,
that.
Yasuo and Irelia.
May I start with Irelia? Because that's something that I'm really pretty happy about. I was a big Irelia believer when it got released. I still am a pretty big Irelia believer. And as I was mentioning, I think Irelia has a pretty strong shot in the format in that rock, paper, scissors. Because I feel like through just sheer card power, Irelia has a great time into Kai'Sa. Like, you have a super giga big deflect champion that you have like each and every game in your champion zone. And when you develop it and you have like a few runes open, Kai'Sa can never ever ever blast it. Like, you just have the signature and then they just have to deflect a billion and their game is doomed. And if you have like a second one or anything, they just lose the game on the spot. So chord wise, I feel like this matchup is already pretty decent. And then the thing you have to beat is Draven. But once again, you are a deck that is able to play the counters to the purple strong stuff, as in Not So Fast, Defy. I don't think you want to play Windwall, but like, you could if you want, if you would want to. And then you also play the purple strong cards, which, as you mentioned, sometimes fighting into Draven, fighting into like these decks is getting there, forcing combat tricks, and then they go Rebuke and you lose the game. Well, if you can, one, counter the Rebuke, and two, Rebuke them yourself, that's where a lot of the fighting power of Draven comes from. So I really do think Irelia is top of the pop in this format. And also, one last thing, and then I'm going to let you talk because I've been talking for too long already. Irelia is one of the decks, there are actually a few of them, more than people think, but Irelia is one of the decks that can completely avoid the combat part of Draven, because each and every turn you can just go Irelia in the BF, use anything to target her, restand her, bring her back to base. And so you can completely deny their both draw power
Yeah.
and gold generation, and that's a pretty big thing in the matchup.
I think if you do that, you just lose because they have too many points from you passing turn early.
I mean, you
So
can
I
do it
don't
in the
think
you can do it
Irelia
in
is.
the mid game and then go in when you want to, because
Uh,
compared to other
I
decks, they don't have the charms, they don't have the removal in base, they don't have. They could potentially play Falling Star, but they really don't want to Falling Star your Irelia. So I feel like they don't really have a good answer if you're in a comfortable
Why
spot.
not? If you play the Irelia on turn 2 and if you go Saga and play Irelia in base, they just falling star at pay 4 and then you lose the game, I think.
Mm,
If they have 6, they just push both battlefield to
yeah,
get
if
to
you have
third
nothing,
point
yes.
and you just lose, right? So if you play it on turn 4, on turn 2, and the issue is if you play it on turn 3, I don't think you can really accelerate Irelia. I think it's a very losing play to accelerate her on 6 runes. Because usually, if you immediately send her in, she just you can't actually start paying like 2+ runes every turn on 6. It's just like very tough, right? Because you would need to have the boots plus a buff, and you just send her in, recycle 1 for equipping, recycle 1 for sending for like Aurelia spell or Aurelia cost, and then you go in and you first of all you have just 1 rune up because you had 6, you paid 5 for Aurelia. Now you use a spell, you can't actually restand leader and use a spell, so you have to either leave her on the battlefield and you're almost tapped out, or you just have to not do that whole thing and just like leave her in base, and it means Draven is at 5 points. It's like I think Draven is very you can't really do the I go in, I go out with Aurelia. I think Draven already has too many points for you to leave one battlefield open at any point.
Mm, yeah, in this scenario that you just described, I would tend to agree, but I think there's more to this than what you just mentioned. I think we have to not forget about the Zonias and the GAs that basically allow you to develop Aurelia on curve, and there's like literally nothing they can do. If they want to Falling Star, go for it. You're just going to recycle 4, and my Aurelia is still alive. Big problem for them. You can play basically like 5 of these, which gives you a very high chance to see them. Actually, higher chance of you seeing them than them seeing Falling Star. And
Uh,
also, Irelia has some mid-game bodies that can pressure the flow of the game. And I'm mainly thinking about the unicorn thingy, whatever, Stellacorn is the name.
oh, so the issue with
Discords.
Stellacorn is if you start playing Stellacorn and moving it around, you're never playing your Irelia. You just like are spending your runes around Stellacorn, and it's just not like
I think Discord.
okay, you draw, but
Yeah, I think
it's good.
Discord is
It's
not
like you
like.
draw cards, but
Yeah, go for it, go for it.
you play this on turn 2, you start drawing cards, and then you don't play your Irelia on turn 3 because well you just played card to support the Stellacorn,
Ah,
and then it's already turn 4, and you have a fucking Stellacorn in the board, and that's it. And I
I
don't think
mean,
that's great.
in my guide, Irelia was one of the first ones that I did. In my guide, I was not playing Stellacorn, and my point, which is very similar to yours, was that why would I use spells to target a core that is going to help me draw spells? Like I'd rather keep them for Irelia. Which
I
I think still stands true. Also, this card is like super bad into some matchups, but there are also matchups in which like you really want this card to be in your deck. So I think you probably have to run it in the main and then
yeah.
sideboard it out for some matchups. Would be my take on
I think
Stellacorn.
yeah, I think the main issue for Irelia is she's kind of set from set 1, but a bit better in the way that she needs to play different engines. She needs to play a few units, but she needs to play counter spells. She needs to play buffs, and she needs to play combat tricks like rebuke and fight or flight and all
Yup.
this stuff. And she needs to see a balanced amount of all of those to win games. So she has a bit more consistency than Set used to be in the same place.
She's
He
way more
needs
consistent and
tricks.
flexible too. I feel
Yeah,
like.
she Set needed to see buffs. He needed to see like showstopper and some tricks and units. He needs to see small units, buff units, and like tricks kind of. And Irelia is kind of the same, but with a more consistent game plan. And I don't think she's a winner ever. I think she stops. I don't think she wins.
Oh, you think Irelia can't
She
win? Okay. I
I don't
expect a
see
lot of
Irelia winning
Draven, and
one
I
of
think
those.
Irelia can have a very good matchup into Draven, which is why I believe. But it would take both an adapted list and a very good player, which, since we've had
I
reveals
just
for
think she
so
gets
long, I
into.
think it could happen.
I think on the draw, like when she is going second, Irelia just like is so far behind into Draven, or has to flip the game super hard on turn 3, and I don't really like that. I think she just, I don't know, she just is not. I think the game are not in her control enough in the early game against Draven. I think if she goes first, she's okay. If she goes second, it's really hard for Irelia to win into Draven.
Yeah, I could see it, but I think over a best of 3 and stuff, you definitely have ways to, especially with the
Yeah,
ganking
I don't.
battlefield and stuff. Like ganking really makes a difference going second with this deck, because then you don't have like I'm not playing the boots. I hate the boots.
Oh, if
Uh,
you're not playing the boots, you're not winning with Irelia. I can tell you,
and
the boots is the best card.
I feel like ganking going second makes a lot of the difference. But yeah,
Yeah, I think the boots are necessary. I do have some like other alternative game plans for Irelia that I'm trying. I don't know. I think she suffers from being very power angry, and if you start having to move too fast, you start going very low on runes, and it's very dangerous. And I don't love her
I think
for that reason.
from my, I mean, I've not played into like super giga top players, so this is also something. But from my testing, most of the time you desperately need to be ganking at one point in the game. Like there's one specific turn in which either you have to clear both battlefields or you have to contest or something. And in these turns, Tidebreaker and Fight of Flight and Flash have proven to be enough. As in like I will need to do this once. If I have one of these cards when I do it, I don't need to run the boots, which are overall not so good from my experience. But at one point, you really do need them. So I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong on that one, but I feel like
I think she's
you
good.
have
I
to
think she's
lose.
good. I don't see her winning though. Like that's my point.
So you would put it at top
Maybe
of
I'm wrong.
tops, basically.
Yeah, she's good. She's probably top three.
I would put her here, but maybe like there's just a slight difference, right? I would not be surprised. Like if you tell me Irelia wins like second regional, I would not be like no shit, bro. Whereas if you tell me Annie is winning like second regional, I would be like, huh, okay, surprising. But maybe that's what you're thinking about Irelia. Let's put it there and maybe we'll move it down. Yeah, we know it's either in between like here and here. Yasuo on the other end was giga hyped for some reason when the set got released. Do we believe Yasuo is like top of the pop? Probably not. But Yasuo is probably one of the decks that got the most tools out of Spirit Forge compared to what it had in set 1. Maybe Kai'Sa too, but like Yasuo is pretty up there. Especially because one thing that we were always talking about, you and me, when we were talking about Yasuo in previous tier list, was that just give me one or two good when I move abilities, and we becoming a better deck. And we just got the Treasure Hunter that reads like when I move, generate a gold gear token. And then we just got the Stella Corn, which is when I moved row 1. And so Yasuo is able to completely crack these cards, which, in my opinion, puts him in somewhat of a potential tier. I would not be super surprised to see Yasuo topping.
Yeah, I think Yasuo is better than he was in set one.
Yeah, definitely.
He likes he likes a lot of the new cards, so I think he is in potential. Will he be played? I think most people are gonna look at Irelia rather than Yasuo, so probably that's it.
Irelia, do we agree on the fact that Irelia is just like better Yasuo?
Yeah.
I feel like some people have been saying like, especially Tog. I did make a tier list video with Tog on the channel. Don't know if you've seen that one, but it was when I did not play a lot of Legends, and he was already like playtesting a lot with his group, and so it was more about me asking questions and him like talking his mind. And he was putting Yasuo above Irelia. Irelia is super low and Yasuo super high. I think right now with the experience that I have to disagree with that take, and I really do think Irelia is straight up better than Yasuo. At least
Yeah,
for now.
I can agree with that. I think Yasuo is just like is very similar to Irelia, but probably just a tiny bit worse.
Yeah, a bit worse. It's a bit less flexible would be my point, but yeah, it's close to that. Then we talked about like the rock and the paper. How about we talk about the scissors in Kai'Sa? I did make a split for Kai'Sa because I feel like we have sort of similar builds but still different. We have the old Kai'Sa control thing that got new tools, the piercing light, blah 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 blah. And then we have the Kai'Sa Max, which is more about playing that vision, turn one, make a unit, playing that forerunner, playing that production surge, all of them good make chords that we can shake hands on the prediction that when Rumble got released, we both said if mechs are good, they're going to be played in Kaisa, not in Rumble. Turns out mechs are like pretty insane chords compared to the Legends, and I feel like if they see success, it's going to be in Kaisa. So let's talk about the control one first, the one that you did master in your set 1 days. Where do we think it stands format-wise? I would say way below where it was in set 1 because it has 2 problems. The first problem is big deflect. You talked about it. Irelia is a problem. Ornn is a problem. You can't really deal with their units aside from combat. And if they're good, they won't let you do that, of course. And the second problem, which is probably the bigger one in my opinion in terms of like game change, is equips. Because now if you use a spell to clear something before they had to use End Words, they survive, but they use the court, and their body then goes down to its original might. Now if you do the same, and they go like quick draw longswords, quick draw axes, quick draw whatever, then not only do they survive, but they also have that extra might permanently, and then next turn, you have to be able to clear them with like that amount of might included in the spell you have to use. So I feel like it really only got worse compared to set 1. But you're the Kaisa master, so maybe you have a completely different opinion. What do you think about like control-ish Kaisa? Or do you think the only way to play the deck is next?
I think she got way better just because of like
interesting take.
Bellow's Breath is really good. There are a lot of good cards. Like I think the mech, the new 6-cost mech, is very good in control Kaisa as well.
This card is just correct overall, though.
Yeah, it's specifically good in Kaisa, I think, because her units being very sticky is strong for her.
Yeah.
I just think that she can't play Time Warp anymore because of Hard Bargain, if Hard Bargain is a thing.
Oh no.
Which hurts her a lot.
We can't play Time Warp anymore, chat. Oh.
Yeah, and I think Time Warp was the plan for the big units. So, Ornn playing 3 Windwall, Irelia playing Hard Bargain into Kaisa probably, if she needs to, hurts her. I do think she's probably one of the strongest, if not... I think she might be the best deck still in set 2. If not Draven.
So we're talking
she's better
mechs.
than Irelia for sure. She's gonna be stronger. I don't know, I haven't played the Mech Kaisa. I think Mech Kaisa is shit. I would just play the Vision Mech, I guess. The spell is pretty strong.
Yeah,
the
that's
spell
the
plays
point.
the guy.
Yeah, that's it.
And the guy. Well, it's not Mech Kaisa, it's just like you play the 2-drop. Maybe.
Yeah, it's 2-drop. It's this. It's Search. These cards that you don't pay the power off, and for 2 you just draw a card, spawn a 3 might token. You play the Forerunner, which is this guy, which is completely cracked, and then you play the 2-drop, which I don't... Oh, this guy, by the way. Forecaster. Lucky me. You play all 9 of this, which is already a third of your deck, so I feel like it's enough to call your deck mech thing. 9 cards is a third of it, but... I mean, rather a
fourth of it.
Yeah, a fourth of it, but whatever. This
Yeah,
one is
I
more
don't
about
know.
like this card.
I don't even know if I play the small mech, to be fair. I think the spell is strong enough. Mundo in Ezreal, Mundo in Teemo is pretty strong. And that kills Kaisa because you have Hard Bargain now, and Ezreal always sees Hard Bargain, so that's difficult.
Yeah.
I think Irelia is not too hard for Kaisa. She can probably beat Irelia, just because she can put up so much might that she can just kill the Irelia through combat. But it's still not great, and she's also very fast. I think Draven you can beat as well. I just think it's not as comfortable as it used to be. I think Hard Bargain is a big card. I think Hard Bargain hurts Kaisa more than anyone else because she wanted to play the long game, and if you play the long game, well, Hard Bargain is always going to be in the opponent's hand, and you're always going to lose to it. Or like you can't actually do the same game plan reliably. So I think that's the main thing for Kaisa.
So it would probably be next year. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't say. I would just like raid the mech one and whatever, not raid the other one. So basically, I wouldn't play without the mechs probably.
I still think it's pretty strong.
I think she's winners. She's here.
Yeah, I could see it win. I would not be surprised if you tell me this deck wins. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the frustrating things in Kaisa got answers in set 2. Which
I don't think they did. I think if you get Falling Star by Draven, it still feels bad. So imagine if you get Falling Star by Kaisa, it feels even worse.
Yeah, depending on the deck you're playing, true. But also like most of the time when you're playing Draven, and I did play a quite bit of Draven, if you have Axe something, you're very fine going into like Star, very fine into going like Singularity. You just drop the 4 Might Draven. If they double Star, you just Axe, you survive. If they Singularity, you just Axe, you survive. And then if they have Stupefy, it is what it is, but like, yeah.
I think Ezreal, like if we talk about like other control decks, I talked about Ezreal being similar. I think Ezreal kind of does the same thing as Kai'Sa, because blue got more removal with like the Bellow's Breath. So I think Ezreal kind of plays the same game as Kai'Sa, but he has Mundo, which can be a bargain, but gets like other weaknesses. So I think Ezreal and Kai'Sa are very similar decks. I just think that she used to be the only option for removal control, and now she's not because of Ezreal offering like kind of the similar idea. So
also, let's not forget about Victor. He's not that far behind, I feel like.
Yeah, he's probably worse. Anyway, let's move to Rumble and put him in Demacia.
Rumble
is
like probably a bad pick. Is it that worse than... No, it's not probably not worse than Ahri because mechs are insane. But
I don't know if mechs are insane. I just think Rumble is just like, it's the Volibear. Just play dudes. Nothing to say. Just play dudes.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's bad. But like the overall mech cards, like the average power level of a card is pretty good. So yeah, I would say probably Rumble is a bad pick as we expected it to be. I'm still not in the Rumble Believers train, church, however you want to call it. I'm not in the train for like Rumble is better Yi. I feel like the deck is too slow, and also one of the bigger problems of the deck, which is also one of the big problems of Yi in set 2 and why Yi does not shine as much as he did in set 1, is that you now have a color in orange that can literally crunch you in the early game where you're supposed to be king. Like set 1, Yi pulls out Poro in the battlefield, you can't win before like 6-7 rounds. You can't. Now set 2, you're playing Fiora, you can just send your turn 1 in there, go punch first, you just de-ramp 1 because you ramp with Fiora, and then Yi's just dead, like lying dead body on the floor, can't defy, can't do anything. And so I feel like Rumble is the exact
put
same.
Yi in bad pick with him. Let's say
let's do that.
Put Yi with him.
They are very similar decks, but like Rumble is the same. It's like Yi. Rumble, you stack a battlefield, and then they just play Fiora, and they go like orange set, spend the buff, go to 8. Posh, Primal Strength, they have 15. Like, okay, dude, you have shield too, cool. But your battlefield is dead.
Yeah. So, I think Lee Sin, Demacia, Lee Sin is just like, why pay to buff? There is no new buff synergy. Why pay to buff when you can do it for free with Master Yi? And Jax is like, I have Counter-Strike.
Give me a second to clear my throat. You can talk about Jax. But I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, I think Jax is just like, I have Counter-Strike, which is good, but that's about it. And we have 0 consistency tools. Equipping stuff and moving around equips is probably not relevant enough. So I think Jax is in bad picks as well, with his friends. We mentioned Fiora. I don't know if you want to...
Well, let me talk about Fiora when I'm done dying. But yeah, just to go over
so
Jax for a second.
Bad pick.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Probably worse than all of this. But Jax is kind of set 1 yesterday. As in, like, just give me a bit more good when I'm equipped equips. And then we could probably talk about the deck. Like, when I'm equipped draw 1, when I'm equipped like something, restand your units.
You have no consistency, so it's like, what's the point of having good cards if you can't fight them?
So far, yes. But maybe set 4... when Jax is having, when I'm equipped, ready the unit, and when I'm equipped, draw 1 new equips, then we're talking about the deck.
I don't actually know. I think you taking turns off to play equips is not real, so...
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't like Jax, neither, in the
I'm looking at 2 legends I mentioned briefly in other things. I think Garen, Demacia tier, got nothing new. Nothing make it better. Set, unless someone finds a token set that works, which I don't really believe in.
No,
I think that didn't improve at all for set 2. He can't afford to play in Punch first, which is the best orange card, so why play set?
That's
and then Fiora is pretty decent because she's strong. I just think she's way too fair, and I think she struggled with draw power, and you have to play all the draw battlefields.
Yup, that's true. And Fiora is probably my favorite set to deck so far.
Yeah, she gets a lot of runes, but she doesn't like have a good way to to get a good payoff for the runes because she doesn't have like a enough draw power to play so many units with all the runes she has. So she does like it's interesting. She doesn't deramp, so she gets to 10, 12 runes
Yeah.
easily. But then she has like 2 cards in hand, so you have 12 runes, and those cards are like 4 power each. So what do you have? 4 runes each. So what do you really do? Like you have too many runes to play all your cards, and I think that's like she has a payoff which is good for a few turns, and then it doesn't matter. So I
I
think
don't.
a spell is good. A signature spell is really good though.
Yeah. I don't hate Fiora. I did play it a lot. That's probably the deck I played the most, and also the deck I enjoyed playing the most. So I can talk about her like pretty in depth. But if we wanted to sum it up, she solved a lot of the problems Set had in Set 1. She has runes. Set did not have runes. She has a lot of good spells, whereas Set kinda needed to play spells, but also did not have like super good one. Like at some point, if you wanted to go deeper in the spell pool, you had to play cards like Confront and stuff, which are not like super good cards. Fiora has like way better tools right now. She's able to consistently beat the combat decks because of Punch First, Primal Strength, Call to Glory, back to back. You can also play Equips if you want to. I play an Equipless list, but you can play Equips if you want to. You are the only legend in the game having access to a counter spell while not playing green, which is like super good because then you have all the advantages of yellow, all of the advantages of orange, and the advantage of green. So it's kind of as if you had a third color going your way. And it has access to sabotage to like beat the rebukes, fight or flights, the big removals and stuff. So like I feel like Fiora is really close to being super good. The only problem is she probably has a tough time playing into like giga removals lists. So if Kaisa and Victor get super popular, I feel like Fiora could have a hard time. And there's not much to do if you want to fix this issue specifically, aside of going full equipped. But then I think it's just a worse deck than buff spells Fiora. So I would probably put Fiora in the top categories. I think Fiora is topping. I think Fiora in a meta with not too many removal decks would definitely be one of the strongest decks.
Oh, I think she gets kind of murdered by Raven and Kaisa. I think she tops, but she's not great.
From my
I would say
experience,
she's
she has a good
potential.
time into Draven, but Kaisa could be tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a friend who played Fiora into me, and I was playing Sivir, and I murdered her like 10 games in a row, and it was like not even close. And I don't know, it felt like terrible. I just activate Sabotage and or Mind Flayer, and she just would lose every single card in her hand for on turn 5, and she would just never come back. I think she struggled with draw too much, and she makes runes for that she doesn't actually use. Poster on like 2 or 3, and I don't think that's great. She has a good champion. She has a good signature spell
Yeah,
though.
she has a
So
lot of good units too. And also, she has great draw power cards. Both orange draw cards are good. The only issue is if you want to fit them in the list. But if we feel like draw power is too much of a problem, you can definitely play them. Like both Spoils of War and the other one, which I never remember the name of, despite playing it. So Spoils is like, if you've killed a unit this turn, I only cost 2 draw 2. This is pretty good in Fiora. You don't mind about the power cost because you just like
I'm not playing
mitigate
Spoiler
it.
for in my deck. That's a bad card.
And the other one is I can't remember the name. Wait, no, it's not Wages. Wages is the other thing. It's orange though. I can just find it. This did show. This one is the same. It's about draw 2 most of the time. I think I prefer Spoil. Requires less setup.
I mean, I would rather just play Confront than play this shit.
Confront does not make card advantage though, which is the problem. You really want to have some sort of card advantage.
Yeah, I don't think she's.
Also, you can play this. Like this dude, I feel is underexploited right now. In Fiora, you
I
don't mind
think
paying the 2 power.
okay, action is extremely strong. I think.
Yeah.
The issue is I don't really know if you want to play action, because most of the impactful equip stuff against Draven is gonna happen during combat, so you can't actually action to beat those things. So I don't know. Fiora is a pass for me. She's decent, but she's still a pass.
She's probably
I would,
either there or
but
there.
pass to play.
Yeah, you would.
Damn.
I think
Fiora is
Fiora
crazy.
destroys you IRL, knowing you, but
Oh my god.
you could give it a try though. I
Okay.
mean, you could go for it, but yeah.
It's crazy.
It is what it is. I probably get destroyed too
Talking about
though.
sexy legends though, Azir is
Azir.
next.
Azir. Uh,
Azir is next. Okay,
it's
Azir.
tough to rank Azir
Azir has
though.
potential. Azir is good. Azir is simple. He has a game plan. It works. It just some bad stuff can happen to Azir along the way, which is
Yeah. Thermal beam.
I think the issue. I think Azir is playable but weak-ish, like too fair. Everything he does is pretty fair.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
I
that's
feel like
about it. I think Azir can go in potential. I wouldn't be surprised if Azir has a few top cut
it will
spots.
top.
I think
It
that's
will
normal.
top. But yeah, no, it's better than that.
It depends on how played it is. Azir could be underplayed just because like it's
Yeah.
not that fun of a deck. I think Ornn, Azir, Yasuo, all of those would probably top. I don't think they do a deep run.
The
I don't
problem
think
with
we're gonna be like, oh, this Azir guy is gonna win the game tournament.
yeah. The problem with Azir is like it has zero flexibility. It's like you have to
Yeah,
find
it's like
curve
if you
into
miss
curve into
turn 2 or
curve.
3,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. It's not a rebound deck. It's
Yeah.
a good deck, but it's not a rebound deck.
With my
Um,
my playtest group, we call it Pluffy for those who played One Piece. It's literally purple Luffy from OP05. As in, like, you have to see a turn 1, then you have to see a turn 2, then you have to see a turn 3, and then you can win the game, but if they don't have turn mobile. Which is like, it's gonna happen, definitely. But is it going to happen enough for you to make a deep run, be it, like, in rounds, then top cut, and then, like, in top 8 and top 4 and
oh,
stuff? I don't think so.
I don't think Azir is the reason you put Thermo Beam in your deck. I think Azir is
No.
just like, you can win again without Thermo Beam. I
But
think it's
if they
fine.
have it, you just lost the game.
It's bad, yeah.
Yeah, just lost the game.
Leona, go to Demacia, Leona. You got Twonk
Is
and it
Leon-
doesn't help you.
Is it Leona? No, Leona is not Demacia, it's bad pick. It's not
Okay,
as bad
pick.
as these guys.
Yeah, it's probably not as bad. It's pretty close though.
Yeah, I feel like I do agree with that.
I mean, yellow green just has no flexibility to it. It's just it's not great.
Yoida. Yeah. Then
I don't want to talk about Leona much. The deck is basically the same as the set one. You got
Yeah.
not so fast and a Twonk. Well, nice. You added 2 new cards to your deck.
yeah, super.
And you were already bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
it's
agree
not
with
good
that.
enough. She maybe she beats Draven kind of because of stun.
Well,
Could be,
she
but I don't
supposedly
think...
has a good time into combat decks, but then like she pairs into Kaisa and she loses exactly as she did in set 1. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if you beat Draven, you can't offensively go into him and stun him because he just buffs the unit
Yeah.
or rebuke you and he still wins
Yeah,
combat.
yeah,
So whatever.
Yeah. Then
Darius and Rek'Sai.
Yeah, for red yellow, I did not make Darius a hook deck because I believe one hook is worse than it's been in the past because of like the gear removal going around. And 2, if you want to play hook, you might as well play Rek'Sai. I'm not saying Rek'Sai hook is the best Rek'Sai build, but I'm saying if you want to play hook, you probably have to play Rek'Sai instead of Darius now. So I'd probably say like Darius has nothing going its way now compared to like set 1 where it was the only hook deck, kind of.
Yeah, I think Darius tempo only effect is decent, but the champion is bad. So why play it? I think it's a bad pick. I don't think it's Demacia. It's definitely as good as Leona and Jax for sure. I think it's still
as
an
good
okay
as
deck.
Leona, yeah, maybe, yeah.
He has new units that are pretty good. I think Rek'Sai. Everything I'm gonna say about Rek'Sai kind of applies to Darius. But Rek'Sai
better.
has access to can play a very aggressive game and still have cards to play because she sees extra card with her ability. The
Yeah.
champion is super good.
Yeah, it's
Red
cracked.
Rek'Sai is cracked.
Yeah.
The thing is, she has 0 interaction during the opponent's turn, so she puts all her dude, and then the opponent is only pushing you if they know they can win, and that's gonna finish you. It's just like you only get fucked when they can like basically destroy you. If they are not sure, well then what do? They just don't push you.
Yeah. It's about like you play 2 to 3 Indel Blades to be a scammer and try to
Yeah,
like
but it's very easy to play around 1 hidden blade,
Yeah.
right? Or 2 hidden blade. It's very easy to.
Aside
And you
from that,
also
it's not, like,
have
good
to
enough.
use all your runes most of the time.
Yeah.
Plus
you're
you
an
can't
aggressive
really play
deck, you have
hidden
to
blade.
develop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strong. It's just very uninteractive. So the opponent is just gonna go in and be like, "Oh, I know I win this combat, so I'm gonna go in and kill all your stuff." And if they can't, well, they just stay in base.
Yeah.
And I think she can win games. I think she's strong. I just wouldn't want to play Rek'Sai for a large event.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think if you want to play aggro, you have to pick either Azir or Rek'Sai. Probably Azir is the bigger payout.
Or
But
aggro Flood, and if you want to play aggro Burn, you play Annie.
yeah, but I feel like Rek'Sai, yeah, Swarm more than aggro would be correct. You're right. Rek'Sai is the more consistent one though. It's probably way harder to play, but if you're a super good player and you want to play Swarm, you probably want to play Rek'Sai instead of Azir, because like you don't straight up die to Thermal Beam, and you have way more control over what you can and can't do during the game because of like the cycling of the legend, blah 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 blah. We talked about it already. Um, that being said, I still think it has the same problems, and both of them are not like good enough to make it. But
I think if Reverse Row didn't exist, Rek'Sai could probably beat Draven, just because you could push on the Reverse
yeah,
game and then have Skulls a week, which would be pretty strong on turn 2, but you can't, so...
yeah,
She's okay into Draven. She's not
Rek'Sai
too bad
feels
into
good to
Draven, but
play.
she's...
Also,
Yeah, she's just terrible into Kai'Sa, she's terrible into
Yeah.
Irelia, she's terrible into Fiora, she's terrible... it's like... She just loses to Orange pretty hard because they just push. Whenever they know you can't have Hidden Blade, and they punch first and kill every single one of your units.
yep,
And they have Sabotage, so they can check for the Hidden Blade as well sometimes. So it's like... It's very hard to play Rek'Sai into some of those decks, and I don't think it's... because you play mostly units, I don't think you can really adapt to the meta. You just play your guys, and hopefully it's working.
yep, I agree with that. But yeah, I think
I'm down
Rek'Sai
to
is
do-
probably a good one. Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm down to do Lucian and Volibear, which are very similar next, I think, compared to Rek'Sai. We just talked about Rek'Sai.
Volibear? I mean, Lucian, I see it. Volibear, though?
No, I think Lucian is very similar. I think Volibear is kind of the same. Volibear has two builds, right? Play Dude and Ramp for Aura. I think this is terrible. I think Volibear with like removal mid range is okay. It's just very it's very mid. It's kind of like Mastery and Set. I think you can put it up on the tier list. It's decent.
I mean, why would you play a Volibear removal build compared to like the removal decks you have up there, or like straight up way
I
better?
have no idea if you are furry and Set is not your thing.
Yeah.
Aria is your thing and
Okay.
you're furry. Like you.
I mean, if you want to
probably
play
want Volibear.
stuns, like you like the stun mechanic, you play Luna, it's probably like the one you're going to have the most fun time with. Volibear, I don't see a single reason you would pick Volibear, except meta chords. But then if there's no meta chord in China, this is not sync play. No, this is the mission.
Yeah, it's like I think it's okay. It's better than Gara and Lee Sin Jing, Jax. I think Volibear is like has legs. I just don't think it's ever better than another alternative.
Whatever.
Anyway,
Lucian, though.
Lucian is.
What do you think about Lucian? I'm interested. I have my opinion, pretty strong opinion on Lucian, but let me know.
I think it's. I think it does some strong stuff. I won't lie. I think Yone in Lucian is pretty strong. I think Longsword is pretty strong in Lucian, extremely strong card.
Uh-huh.
I just think Lucian suffers from not being very consistent
Uh-huh.
and running out of cards. I do think he's a strong legend. I could see it in potential next to Rek'Sai. It's not that bad. He has a very good champion. He has a very good signature spell. Longsword is really good. It's just like you get rebuked once and your game is over.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of the issue.
That's
he can't play
exactly my
Sabotage.
point.
He can't play Sabotage because he doesn't want to trade 1-for-1 in cards. He just want to brute force in. I just think if you played against a Lucian who drops Yone on you, and they Yone and they equip something and they they do like the what's it called? They push in with
Signature?
Yone and then they do the signature.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're not. They're gonna just murder your whole board, and it's gonna be pretty hard.
Yeah. This is not terrible, but my big problem with Lucian, you kind of mentioned it, is there's a big difference in having a 4-might Draven that gets equipped with Axes and all of a sudden beats Falling Stars, beats Singularity, and having a Lucian champion equipped with like Longswords. And that big difference is that every single early to mid game removal sends you into Oblivion. Like Lucian, if they play Falling Star, if they play Challenge, if they play Singularity, if they play Cold a Week, if they play like whatever mid-game removal you could find in the Tarnation, you just lose the game on the spot. That's a big problem.
Yeah, I think Lucian auto loses to a lot of stuff, but I think he's decently strong. I wouldn't be surprised if Lucian topped next to Rek'Sai. I think he's probably potential or bad pick. But
he's a bad pick. He's a bad pick. My problem is that you mentioned every flow. Like it's not hyper consistent. It's not good at generating cards. It's not good at playing toolbox. And then if they have a single removal, you can just like pack your stuff and go to the next round because that game is over. So like,
yeah, I mean they can bully you if they do Caesar curve, and if you do miss one turn, they can bully you pretty hard. So that's kind of the
but I mean, if I'm 120 kilos of muscle and like 1 meter 90 centimeter whatever, and you're like 150 and like 10 kilos, yes, I bully you into oblivion. But like aside from that, if we are fighting with equal strengths, like Lucian is just if they open perfect and they open nothing, sure they win. But like every deck in the game does that, I feel like, except Jinx maybe and Garen. But aside from that,
okay.
no, Lucian is just not it. It's just not it. And also, that's one of the decks I've seen the most cope going around because I feel like it's fun to like mosquito gameplay, like score, go back to base, score, go back to base. But in the end, the mosquito, you just slap it and it dies. So yeah, that's kind of what I feel about Lucian. Teemo is way more interesting though. I feel like both are pretty different as we did for Ari and Ornn. I did not test Teemo a lot in set 2, nor did I play into it. So do you have takes on set 2 Teemo? Or is it similar to set 1?
It's not good enough to be... it doesn't get much better than it used to be. That's the main issue. It doesn't improve. I think Teemo was really strong set 1. I just think it suffers from Annie and Kaisa both playing removal or like too fast of a game for Teemo sometimes.
Yep.
He really struggles into Gust, which is going to be the main issue for set 2, but I do think Teemo is fairly strong. I would put it in potential. I just think the problem is... Yeah, the problem is if you were about to play Teemo, now that Ezreal is here, like Teemo was very good because he cycled this deck very fast, and you would find Mundo, find all your tools, and kind of tailor your hand and like hide and hold. That was really strong, and now Ezreal just does that a bit better, and I think Ezreal is probably gonna be on the tops.
Yeah.
Next to Fiora and Annie.
I would agree with that. I could see it that way. The only thing that I was not able to find a fix for, so I do agree with Teemo with everything that you said, and once again I did not play so much set 2, so yeah, let's just put Teemo in there, feels fine. Ezreal though, I did try it, and I did try to make it function, because if you've played a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! In your life, being able to cycle your entire hands and play a billion interactions, and just like have that feeling of being in total control is exactly what you're thriving for. So I really did like the concept of Ezreal and like the champion that cycles and stuff. The big problem I ended up having with that Ezreal is that I did not find a solution to consistently beat Deflect that would not make my deck bad in every other matchup possible. So that's why I think Ezreal is not like top of the pop. I don't think you can beat both top strategies at the same time, because you spend so much deck space on doing stuff that you can't really make it consistent if you want to beat both at the same time.
I think Ezreal doesn't beat Irelia.
Yeah, that's my problem.
It can be built to beat most of the stuff.
Or in Irelia.
I mean, I think that's the thing is with Ezreal is like the very big thing with Ezreal. The big risk with those decks like Tivir, Ezreal, Kaisa, you can build it to beat anything. Because those decks are very, very adaptable.
Yeah,
and a lot of tools.
Yeah.
Compared to Azir, which is like very not flexible of a deck. Teemo is kind of the same in some ways, but Ezreal is like way faster of a cycler. He sees more cards in a game. So Ezreal is gonna allow you to see so many cards you can actually like deck build to beat everything.
Yup.
The issue is the trade-offs. So the problem is I will play a list of Ezreal that beats Draven. And then I play into Irelia, it's pretty bad. I'll change my list, it beats Irelia now, and then I go back to Draven with the same list.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like kind of worse. And then maybe I find a list that works into both, but then it's really bad into all the jungle. So I think Ezreal deck building is tough for Ezreal. I think he's also one of the most difficult legends to play. I think
Yup.
I think Ezreal and Sivir are probably the most difficult legends to play by far. Maybe Sivir even more than Ezreal because she doesn't have removal.
Sivir is probably harder
But
to play than Ezreal. I would agree with that. But yeah, it's close.
yeah, just because he has removal, so he has like some capacity of he can win combat and he can win with removal, when Sivir just can't do either.
Yeah.
He has a lot of strong tools. It's just I think the issue is a lot of the stuff I would want to do with Ezreal, I would need Seal to do so. And so for all that stuff, I'm looking at Sivir. And for the rest of the removal stuff, he is like Kai'Sa-ish. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna be better than Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa has the champion is pretty strong.
Yeah.
And I thought Ezreal champion was strong.
It's cracked. It's cracked.
It's cracked, but the issue is, I wish it. I would just play 3 off in my deck and have another champion. If I could, I just put 3 in my deck and play Kai'Sa champion. Right?
Yeah. The blue one is trash, unfortunately. The blue one, if the blue one was when I moved to something on the opponent units, we would have had a half deck, but whatever.
Maybe the blue one can be played. I don't know. I haven't tried it too much.
It's trash,
but, I think Ezreal is very close. It feels very close, but I'm scared. It's like it's never gonna get there. We'll see.
Yeah, my point with Ezreal...
I like it. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I like Ezreal.
Yeah, same. I wanted it to work so badly. My final standpoint after doing some research and trying to refine the list and stuff is you probably want to play a deck that's like mostly based on removal and battle tricks, as you mentioned, stuff like cold touch, frozen touch, sorry, smoke screen, that kind of stuff to make your like removal even better, your ghost better. You can also play Windsinger, which is somewhat ghosts with legs, which is a terrific card in my opinion in that sort of build. And you just have to accept that in Irelia, it's either you scam them or you lose. Because aside from that, you don't have a good ending point on trying to beat everything, which is the problem. But aside from that, Ezreal is pretty good.
I think the main issue of Ezreal into Irelia is you don't want to play many units in Ezreal because you cycle your deck so fast you will find them. So you don't really need to play a turn 1. You can just play Ghost and stack deck and all this stuff. Or you can just play some of the like students, right? But and against Irelia and Ornn, which are kind of the same deck in a way, it's like against Aura. You need to score early, otherwise you're gonna be too far behind in points and they're gonna have too much time to set up and find cards, and you're gonna lose. And I think Ezreal, if you want to beat Irelia, you kind of have to go for a turn where you go fight Irelia and you rebuke and they counter and you rebuke again and they counter and then you fight off lies, and hopefully they don't have the third counter. And it's kind of how it goes, I think, and how it's gonna go. Otherwise you can go for Dunwell. I don't love the Dunwell plan into Irelia. I don't like it either. Maybe it's necessary. It's just I don't see a way to beat Irelia. I think also Ezreal could struggle into some of the random like decks. I don't know if Ezreal really beats Rumble, for example. Can you beat Rumble with Ezreal?
Yeah, if you
can
get
you beat
behind
Rek'Sai, because I think Rek'Sai can potentially just bully you extremely hard. Can you beat Lucian? Like these kind of decks are also scary for those
if
picks.
they go first, you have a tough time for sure. Yeah.
So those are gonna be my main concern if I was to play Ezreal.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. It's a cool deck. If I had to choose a deck for this set for now, it's gonna be from what's on the tier list yet. It's probably Kai'Sa, Ezreal, maybe Irelia. I don't think so. Kai'Sa or Ezreal are probably my picks. Because Teemo is a bit. I would play Teemo, but Ezreal is just a more flexible Teemo, I think. In some ways.
For sure. But similar game plan as into like Mundo Turbo Teemo. You could have some sort of game plan going that way too with Ezreal, which is enjoyable. Very flexible once again. Talking about purple though, you did talk about Sivir. We keep talking about Sivir and going back to it because it's also one of the ones that I wanted to work pretty bad. It definitely feels like the harder deck to pilot and deck build so far in set 2, from my perspective. Especially the Reanimator list. Don't know if you played that one, but like with the shovel, blah 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 blah. This is like super hard, easier to pilot and to build.
I played something different, but something a bit similar. I played a Turbo Savior that plays like that cycles your whole deck and stacks it, and then you kind of go back to your. Let me see what what's your Severe deck?
I can show it, but you can keep talking about yours. I'm just like going to generate the image while you're talking, so
Yeah, let
we
me
can
just
show it
take a look.
to
I will tell
chat.
you. It's
This
something
is
similar and different in this at the same time. It's like
this was my list. It felt really enjoyable, but also really like tough to pilot. And when you make a mistake, you lose the game on the spot, which I did not play nearly enough games with this build to make it work. But when you get into those decent mid-game spots of like rights, replace the fan, and then like they can never beat you in combat because you have like a few
oh
rooms open
I
for the punch, and like yeah, they and this chord is cracked too. Like there's a
I
lot
think
of room for good chords in this deck.
not playing Seal is crazy. I think.
You know I'm a big seal hater, but yeah, I did end
I
up a
think you
few games
have to
with
play
zero runes.
Seal.
Yeah, I do agree.
I think you have to play Seal in this deck. I just think Sevire's weakness is just she doesn't have a +2 or like a combat trick, and that's really bad. Like it's very tough. You just someone pushes 3 into your 2, and you're fucked. They have 3 might on the battlefield, and you're fucked, and that's kind of the feeling of Severe.
Yeah, the game plan is
And I
pretty
don't
hard
think
to
that's
manage.
and I think that's fix like to fix that that's pretty hard. Also, you really want to go Severe on turn 2, and if she gets Falling Star, it's pretty bad. Um,
Yeah, I do agree with you, Ida, in the chat. I hate seals, which
I
is
hate
also
seals, but it's okay because I will cycle my whole deck and find them, and then I will use them to play Rasa and the Shovel in the late game. So it's
yeah.
like
It's
reliable.
probably why I'm not playing Seaver in set 2 though, because if I have to play seals, I might as well not play the deck. But I really like this idea. I feel like that's the first functional deck that is able to make this idea of like the trash is a second hand work with the one like the weird and wacky one-offs that anyway you're going to see them, mill them, as you mentioned, and then you just have the Fizz, you just have the Ezreal, you just have the rights, and you really make use of that trash cards part of purple that I feel like no other deck aside maybe Ezreal is able to consistently use. And I think Seaver does this better. So yeah. I think
I
access to
think
that
Fizz is
consistency
shit.
felt
I
super
I
good.
think Fizz is shit.
You hate
I
Fizz?
probably
I
would play
do like
only
Fizz
one
though.
Fizz.
I love
I would
Fizz.
only play one Fizz to replay.
You can
I
only
only
play one,
replay
yes.
Sabotage with Seal.
You could only
But
play
yeah,
one Fizz, yes.
I think Severe. If you go back to the tier list to say about Fizz, I think
Yeah.
Severe is very close to being like super good and winner. But I can't. She's top for sure. I think she stops. She's
Yeah.
next to Ezreal, next to Fiora, next to Annie.
Oh,
She's on the
tops?
same power level.
Nah, she's a bit below that.
Oh yeah, she is. No,
She's
she
probably
is.
there
She is.
though. I'm trolling by putting her here, but she's probably here.
Oh, I think
Because
she's
she misses
as
that
strong as Fiora.
little bit of strategy. I mean,
Oh, she's as strong as Fiora for sure. And
I mean,
Annie.
you did
She's
run-
as strong as Fiora and Annie.
you did run
very
Severe
close.
into Fiora, so probably you could potentially be biased by that. But I feel like Fiora has a bit more of a better matchups into these guys than Severe does.
I will tell you, I think Severe is definitely close to Ezreal in terms of power level.
I mean, good
She's
top,
close to
yeah, it's
Fiora.
good top. But bottom then. But good top, yeah. I would agree with that.
I think she's good. I just think she's very hard to pilot, and I don't think it's worth expending the energy and the mental stack to pilot this kind of deck.
And also
for tournament.
Seaver is one of the only decks in that top category that does not have any sort or form of counter to the purple madness. Fiora has the Sig, Ezreal is purple, Annie is purple,
She's
Irelia
purple
is
as well.
and
What
has
are you
counters.
saying?
Yeah, but Seaver, the big difference is that you have to, as you mentioned, you have to push, then you have to slam resources because you're not very good at pushing. Like your bigger units in the deck is like Rasha, something, whatever. And then if they go Rebuke, you just lost the game on the spot because you don't have the runes, you don't have the tools. So it feels like when we are going for an all-out war into all of these decks except maybe Kaisa, you just lose it. Most of the time.
Yeah, I think she's not controlled. I just think she's close. I think Sabotage is strong.
Yeah,
I think Sabotage
is
alone
trash.
makes Severe work, and she just you just drop Sabotage and you win the game. And I think that's Severe game plan. The main issue I have is I really need the seals, and if I can't find them fast enough, it's not good.
I do agree with
haven't
that.
tried Aura Severe too much yet. I have started to kind of build it.
Let's not
I think
talk about
Aura
Aura,
Severe
please.
is. Yeah, I think Severe Aura is probably as good, if not better than MF Aura. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but it seems like it's pretty good so
Yeah,
far.
it has to be, but like it's aura, right? So gear
And I think you can
removal,
play MF.
vanilla is my
Yeah, and I
guy.
think if you think about MF Aura, she got better because now she plays cold shots,
Yeah,
so she's more consistent than she used to
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. But
Because
like
cold
then
shot,
there's just a billion gear removals in sideboards, and you just lose game 2 and 3, and see ya. Next
I
levels.
don't think there is gonna be that much gear removal. What do you want to remove gear against if you look at this tier list?
Oh, there's a lot of gear removals in side decks now.
No,
Mm,
I think I think it's gonna go away. I don't think most decks are gonna play gear. I think most of the gear removal, the good one, is in yellow and in green, and we don't see a lot of yellow green on top of this tier list.
I don't
But
see a lot of decks playing nor Thermal Beam or Action or Sabotage to remove the gear or Salvage.
what?
Like I think
I mean,
each
okay,
and every deck is
yeah,
playing
but
at least one of these.
yes, but you mentioned salvage. No yellow deck besides Fiora in top spots. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to play Sabotage
Action.
though,
Who is
like let me
gonna
just
play
check your end
action
on turn
besides
8.
Fiora? Who is gonna play action besides Fiora in this list? Sivir maybe, but she's not really. She's barely in the
Lucian
top
could, I
right.
guess, but
Yeah, but she's
yeah,
bad pick, so we don't really care.
yeah, we don't care.
Uh,
True.
so you mentioned Thermo Beam. I mean, Azir and Ornn are not in the top. So are you really playing Thermo Beam? I don't even know.
Most of the decks
It doesn't
are
seem.
right now. Will they stop? It's
Yeah, I think they
possible, but
started with Thermo Beam because they're scared and it's a gear set. I don't know if they're gonna continue. So
yeah,
I
they could
think
stop.
I don't think gear removal is gonna be an issue for Aura. I think purple rebuke fight or flight is gonna be more of an issue for Aura.
Yeah, true. I mean, everything you lose, you just straight up lose to everything that's good in the format. Sabotage though, I was a really like big hater of Sabotage in set 1. I thought the code was like super overhyped. It was like only good in certain spots. You had to be able to establish a board to evaluate, blah 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 blah. I really did not like Sabotage. It's gone from one of the chords I hate the most in set 1 to one of the chords I love the most in set 2. Because
Okay,
Rebuke,
if I
Fight or
have to ask
Flight,
you why.
Gears,
Yeah.
Aura, like there's so many tools. And Punch First, like there's not a single matchup in which Sabotage is not valuable. So I think if you play Orange, you are going to play Sabotage. That's definitely a point going Sever's way.
Yeah, I think mostly Aura is gonna be good because there is no good gear removal in the colors that are in the top. I think if Ornn, if Yasuo, if Azir, if Master Yi, if Jax were top decks, then Aura would be unplayable. I also think has gotten better because the
Oh
purple
yeah, it's
really hates
correct.
Sabotage.
It's so correct right now.
Yeah, Sabotage is really good into purple. So I think purple being one of the best colors,
And as you mentioned
Sabotage is
it,
definitely.
we're in the combat format, which was not the case before. Like
Yeah,
mostly,
used to
it
be
was because of
removal.
Kaisa.
So
But
it
now,
doesn't really feel good to trade 1-for-1 with Kaisa, but now
yeah,
you sabotage and then you go into Draven and you know their tricks,
yeah, you
and
know
they're
all
kind
the
of fun
tricks, and
because
you
if
get
you
rid of the rebuke or the punch first, and then like it just
yeah,
feels
because
so
if you look at
cracked.
someone's hand and you sabotage and then you walk into them,
Oh
they
yeah,
know you have the tools to win, so they can't really use
oh
anything,
yeah. It's
and then kind
so
of have
good.
to take the L.
It's so good. Like
So yeah,
Sabotage right now is
uh,
just an absurd chord.
I think you
Yeah,
can put MF in tops. I think MF next to Sivir. I think MF is. I don't like it, but I think she's
I
gonna
would
be
put
still
it a
strong.
fair bit below Seaver, just
Yeah,
because I think
potential.
Seaver is straight up better. But
It
I
could
mean,
be. Ganking is strong.
even that, yeah. I mean, there's something that I don't know about. I've focused most of my testing on set 2 legends, because like making 12 guides is already a bit of time, a fair bit of time. So I was not able to test all of the set 1 legends, and so I mostly tested the set 1 through like my testing partners that were playing it. And I saw some people on Twitter mentioning a potential mid-range MF build that was popping up in
Nah,
set 2. I
it's
don't know about
fake.
that one. Like I have no clue
Okay,
about that deck if it exists.
why would you play mid-range MF when you can play mid-range Severe? You just oh no, you don't play orange Severe. It's so shit. It's bad. I don't
Orange
think
Severe
you
in the
run
main if you
orange
play
Severe.
Aura? No, probably not.
Maybe in the side deck if you play against Kaisa, I guess you could play it.
Yeah,
But
I could
I
say
don't
it.
even
I
think
could say
so.
it being side
I
deck in
think I
Seaver,
think
but
Deadloom is straight up better. I think Deadloom is straight up better.
not necessarily Aura, right? Yeah, like you just play
Yeah,
Tempo Seaver and then you side deck it and then play into Kaisa,
no,
you drop it on
I
curve.
tried it and then I had orange Severe and I was like, what the fuck am I even doing with this shit?
Okay, was not good
Like
enough on
it's not
curve into Kaisa?
it's not good enough ever. It's just too small.
Yeah, okay.
He just
I
dies
don't
to
like the card
combat.
either, but Tog was thinking it could see play, so maybe there's stuff we don't know about. Just normal Dead Bloom and Splitter. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, if you think
probably the
about it, if
same,
sabotage is
right?
good, Dead Bloom and if you sabotage is good, Splitter is like even better, right?
Oh, there's also something that we have to talk about regarding Aurora. So you talked about like gear removals maybe not being there. Let's say I could see it. Then we talked about purple being like more present than ever, and that's a problem for Aurora. This we are 100% certain of. There's another problem that I have with Aurora right now that makes me think Aurora is borderline unplayable. It's that when you play Aurora, the best card in your deck is Dead Bloom, right? And paired into any orange deck in the Tarnation, Dead Bloom is shit as trash. As in, like, you have to pray for your Aurora to eat Dead Bloom, then you get in there and they just play Punch first and you lose the game. Whereas before, when you got Dead Bloom on, like, curve-ish, when playing Aurora, it was a strong push. Like, it gets in there,
You
it
would
scores.
you would never send the Dead Bloom first.
Yeah,
as
but then if you
Aurora,
don't
like,
do that, there's no point in playing that deck. Because, like, you're already a slow deck, and most of the time you have to pray to fight Dead Bloom to stabilize your mid to late game. And then they, like, you fight Dead Bloom and you have to set to base.
I don't think you played into Aurora enough on set 2. I think you played into bad Auras and like Aura. I think
I feel like there's too many things that are not going Aurora's way.
I just think the issue with Aura is just I think Aura is very good into many of those decks. I just think she's very slow. She's very bad into Rivers first, so Draven Point once again. Gear removal can happen. It's probably gonna happen for the first event, but I wouldn't be surprised if Aura popped up for the second or third event. Maybe the fourth one. I just think Aura does not have. No, I mean no. I think Aura has very very strong game plans into many of the top decks. Just like Mind Splitter and Sabotage paired together are strong. I wouldn't be surprised if Aura was still very very good set 2.
I think I have to disagree with that one, but we'll have to see. Maybe I'm wrong though, and I'm overestimating like key removal and stuff. Could be.
I mean, okay, I will ask you this: once again, which one of the 7 top decks we decided on today is playing gears that can be removed?
I really had Draven, maybe Seaver, and some Furalists, but not all Furalists.
It's probably not enough to warrant some gear removal. Like Draven, if they play the axe on you during combat, they already got like most of the value. So it feels very weird to spend your whole turn to remove it. I think Irelia it's pretty decent if they play the seal, but I don't think Irelia is gonna be playing the seal for most of the time.
So. It's also for GAs and Zonias and boots and stuff, but
it's not like amazing, right?
Yeah, it's not like cracked. It's playable.
It's bad into Kaisa, it's bad into Annie, it's bad into Ezreal, it's bad into Sivir, let's be real. Like Sivir plays what? The Shovel, maybe Doran's Blade.
Yeah, that's about it.
And Fiora maybe plays. So you don't really want gear removal for any of the top decks, so you're only bringing it in for Ornn and Azir. So if Ornn and Azir don't exist, then instantly Aura gets better because
Can you ignore them though? While like giving them 2 spots of your sideboard wins you the game straight up. And if you don't have these tools, maybe you just lose.
Yeah, but what if you just if there is not many Ornn and Azir and you just play one Swiss and this way you just take the loss?
I think I'm dedicating 2 spots in the sideboards anyway, because like, why would I not, right?
For what? Because you just take the L in Swiss and you just win the other rounds because you have a better sideboard for the actual meta decks that you will face for sure, rather than the one deck you maybe face.
But you sort of have to have a strong main deck into these decks, I feel like already. So maybe it's like you add the, like let's say you're playing purple, maybe in the side you have like the 3rd Rebuke, or let's say you're Sivir or whatever, you have the 3rd Rebuke, then you have the 3rd Sabotage, whatever in the sideboards, and then like you have some spots for like more targeted cards in a way. I feel like I'm playing.
Yeah, but I'm not targeting
you're playing Sabotage anyway, so you already have that removal.
Yeah, but I'm not playing like the thing is, it's like you're already playing Sabotage. You already probably Azir and Ornn with Sivir, so it's like I don't really see it. I think Fiora can probably play Salvage just because it's a flexible card.
Yeah, and it's 1/4
because it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really care as much about the recycling, so she can probably play Salvage.
Yeah. It's
Irelia is probably not playing the removal gear guy.
No. If she's playing one, it's the factory recall, the thing that bounces a gear to end. But
maybe Draven and Kaisa are gonna play Thermo Beam because they're scared of Azir and Ornn. But if Azir and Ornn end up not seeing much play, then immediately like Thermo Beam is gonna get ditched out of the side. It's probably one of the. If you see not many Azir and Ornn in top for the set one regional, for the first regional, I can tell you everybody's just gonna cut.
Yeah, that
Thermo
makes
Beam.
sense. That would make sense. I could see it.
Okay,
Then
let's finish this tier list.
yeah, we have one last color combination to talk about, which is a rather interesting one because we've achieved the perfect form of yellow-blue, in my opinion. So let's start with Victor, and then we're going to talk about the rest of it. Because
Send the two other to Demacia.
yeah, I mean, Lux is probably a bad pick, but not Demacia. Renata is Demacia, though. Like, Lux is just like worst Victor control, I mean. So yeah, it's not good. Renata is just trash ass. There's
Yeah,
no way we
Renata,
make
you
Renata
just
good.
it's an aggro deck. It's not that bad. It's just like it doesn't work.
It's just
worse. It's just like
way
you
worse
don't have
than
good
Victor.
cards. You just don't have enough good cards to put in Renata, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
now we have
Control
two.
Victor, I think it's potential.
We have two
or maybe-
completely
I
different
think it's
Victor
China.
decks. I think that's the
Oh,
only
Victor
deck
Tempo
that
you
has
can
two
remove.
completely different decks.
Put in bad deck. I think Victor Tempo doesn't exist. It's not a real deck. No one plays this.
It got decent tools in set 2. The Gward whatever, like the... What's the name? Rally the Troops. Yeah, that. This is a good code
Nah,
for
I'm not
Victor.
playing.
Like, there are several decent codes for the deck. Is it good
You
enough
can't play
to...
this in set 2.
Wait, what?
No. You can't play those decks in set 2. Same reason why for Kaisa and for this kind of deck, Hard Bargain exists and they just counter your stratagem, counter your... You
Is
just
Victor
don't have
Tempo
enough.
way worse than Rek'Sai? Probably
Yeah,
not,
it's just
right?
like that's it. Yeah, worse than Rek'Sai, worse than Azir.
Is it like way worse? Probably not, right? Like it's
It's
I mean,
worse by
it's
a
not topping most likely.
significant amount.
Yeah. I could say it.
Victor Control, I think you can put in top or potential. I don't really care about this deck. I think this deck is scary if your deck can't beat it, but
This deck is
I
topping
don't
in
think-
the early days of the Chinese regionals because nobody has a game plan into it.
yeah, you kind of need to know what this deck does so
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
lose to it, but that's it.
For those who would
I
not
don't
know,
f-
this deck, for more context, is quote-unquote unitless Victor. Now it's playing a few units, as in like 3 or 6 of them, the Jace and stuff. But it's mostly control decks and control spells, sorry. And then you win with the tokens scoring for you, which I feel like is viable when people like just slam into BFs and don't know what they're doing. But having played into it, it feels like some two fair decks can't do anything. Like if you're playing Rumble, if you're playing like whatever, these quote unquote two fair decks, you just can't do anything. But then if you're playing like well with a decent deck into this deck, and you manage to swarm the board once enough so that they can't clear it knowing exactly what they do, you just win the game on the spot. Like the second they can't control everything you play, they just lose the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's probably topping in the early days because people are not going to be very aware of what this does.
I also think what's it called? I think China loves Victor.
Yeah, true. There were a lot of victors in set 1 regionals. For example, if you want to jump over to the gameplay channel that I do run, I can share the link there. You have finals of my locals. We played set 2 locals. I was playing Draven into Victor. And like, the only thing that I was scared about was Imperial Order. So I just like hid a Final Flight on my Draven. And then I had Red win for my Kaisa. And then like, they don't have an option, right? Like they have to slam the order because they don't have draw power, so they have like 3 cards in hand, whatever. They just slam the order, they push in there, I retreat all of my units, and next turn they just lose the game on the spot. Like, it's true that if you don't have a plan into Victor, you can't do much, but it's also true that when you do have a plan and you execute it properly, they can't do much because it's mostly about them playing big blowout spells and resolving them or not. You also talked about board game. It could be a thing in these matchups. Let's say you develop 2 bodies. They have to use Singularity almost on curve. You play board game. They can't do anything. They just lose the game on the spot, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think the better you are into Victor, the better your win rate is going to get. And it could get like super high, I feel like.
I think Victor can be scary, but that's Uh,
Does Ezreal lose to Control Victor since he does not play too many units? I would probably say yes, in theory. As in, like,
Game
you're
one
going to want to
probably.
play Mundo and stuff, and, like, Victor does not give a fuck, so you probably lose, yes, as Ezreal. But then, like, you're still, Ezreal has problems that he kinda can't fix, so yeah. I feel like Victor is decent, though. I feel like for these first regionals, we're definitely seeing unitless Victors in tops. I would not be surprised to see at least one in each. But
Yes.
it's not that good either. Is there anything you want to add, or do you have a few minutes to talk with the chat? They have a few questions, and then we let you go because you said you were tired, right?
Yeah, of course.
Huge. Thank you so much, by the way, for being here. You guys, we're going to answer your questions, but if you don't know Randy, give a check to his Metafy. Big guide maker recently released the Timo guide with prismaticism, and also a lot of stuff coming for set 2. Especially since you plan on going to China, if you get a top there, we will have a lot of stuff to talk about, so it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who is
Let's
winning?
see if the French government lets me go to China if I get
Oh, you have
the
passport
rest of the
issues?
company set up. No, the company I'm creating my LLC and it's like in creation, so that's also the big thing I'm waiting for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, French
Okay.
stuff is not easy to deal with administration-wise.
Yep.
Who is winning Irelia versus Draven? I think the better the player are, the more the matchup tends to Irelia winning.
I
But
don't think it is. I think Draven going first pretty
Randy
strong.
disagrees.
I think it's okay. It's an okay matchup for Irelia. I
Let's
don't think
say
the
we
stat
take like
favors.
level 1 players, like both players are level 1. I think Draven is like 80-20 or 90-10. And then we go to like level 50 players. Maybe Irelia is like 60-40, in my opinion. But
Could
I
be.
might be wrong on that. I still think that's the case, but Randy has some fair points too. Where can I find a Seaver Temple? Can you share yours? I shared mine here. Which once again I
I
would agree
wouldn't
to
share
play some
mine
seals.
just because I don't want to int people testing.
Okay.
I won't
Okay.
lie. I just think I'm not on something that's playable right now.
Okay.
I don't know. It's given up on for now. I can send something, but it's not gonna be good.
Is any downwell a thing? Nope. I think it's not. Randy thinks the same. I mean, if you want to like think about a control deck, we have so many good options right now that I don't see why you would play something that gimmicky. It's funny though, but is it super good? I would probably say no. Which do you rate better, Aura MF or mid-range MF? So that was the question. I have no clue about mid-range MF, and Randy says the deck does not exist. So I would not be able to rate it because I just straight up don't have a clue about what like mid-range MF does because I spent so much time testing set 2 legends that I did not really get a chance to test every single version of like set 1 builds. So I don't know. What else do we have? Which is the best unit in Irelia apart from herself? What do we think? Is it Stellacorn? Has to be, right? Because there's
I don't
no
think
other
there's
units in
any
the deck.
good units in area beside
There's
area
no. I
mainly.
mean,
So it's...
probably the second better unit in your deck is the second Irelia you're going to include in there, and then the third one will be third Irelia. So. Are the set 2 rebound stats a bit unreliable because of the Chinese best of 1 tourneys, says Darius 8 here, for example? Yes. Yes. 3 big things. First big thing, best of 1. Changes a lot. Second big thing, new format. Changes a lot of stuff. Like, order decks are not figured out. People are not good at playing them. Third big thing, and you can just not trust me but trust the stats. Aggro is always going to seem broken in the early days of the format. One example I could give for One Piece players starts off OP08 formats, which is that's a set name, right? That's the 8th set of One Piece card game. An aggro deck, which is Red Zoro Animals, has something like 70% win rate in Ranked on Sim because it's an aggro deck, and so it's super cracked. And of like that exact same format, OP08, Animal Zoro is like 40-ish% win rate and has like bad matchups into all of the top decks. It's just about people learning how to play into it and getting used to it. But aggro is always going to be super strong because if you make a mistake, they punish it super hard. And if you don't make a mistake, but you don't play your deck to perfection, you're going to feel like you fall behind because like the whole purpose of their deck is to be in the lead. So you feel like you fall behind because you just don't optimize everything correctly. That's my take. Do you have anything to add to the table?
Not really. I don't know. I haven't like tested everything yet. I just a lot of the stuff is still unknown right now, so I wouldn't like. I won't. If I'm not sure about something, I'm probably not gonna talk too much about it. I think overall, unicorn, this whole kind of thing in Irelia is cute. I don't know if it's gonna stick. I think Irelia is strong. I think MF, all the mid-range stuff that we mentioned really quick, are all fake. I don't think MF mid-range makes sense if you could play Sivir instead. If you wanted to play mid-range, like orange-purple deck.
Agreed.
Because the orange champion is not great. Ganking is decent, but Sivir champion has ganking. And then the Sivir champion is better, and the Sivir Legend Beat is way better for that. So all the stuff.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, and then about the Ornn versus Ari question in the chat, I think Ornn is better than Ari as a pick. Yep. I think Ornn is very solid. I don't see how you lose some game ones. If you go game one and you play Aspirant's Climb in Ornn, I don't think you're losing many games. I just think the post side deck Ornn phase is tough.
Yeah, the bigger question with Ornn is, are you able to face aggro? Aspirant answers that, and yes. Are you able to beat Thermo Beam? And that you don't always have an answer for.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not on curve. And I think Ari is playable in set 2. If you play her, the issue, I don't think Ari can answer both Irelia and Draven and Kai'Sa at the same time.
It's too hard. You have too many problems dealing with Rebuke and Punch First. Like, literally, every deck in the top, aside from Kai'Sa, which was already a negative matchup, is playing one card that destroys your deck, be it Rebuke or Punch First. And the holding strategy, like, okay, you go neg1 on their units. If they go +5, what do you do, right? So, yeah, it's just too hard to play Ari in this set, in my opinion. Do you have any idea about how to build Kai'Sa heading into set 2? There are a lot of choices right now, and I wanted to know your opinion. Well, that's more of a Randy question.
Kai'Sa set 2? I just think you keep the same idea as set 1. I don't think much change. I think Rain is out of the deck.
Yeah,
Time Warp is probably in the side deck. And you replace those with... I don't love Darius. Maybe she is still necessary, but I think you play the new mech that costs 6 and plays token. And the new spell that plays mech. Maybe you play Bellows Brass. We'll see. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Not much change. Can I guarantee that I top 8 Bologna? Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to top or going for the metal card. Maybe I just play Seer and I play for the metal card. But
you can top 8 and get the metal card. Don't be a bitch.
I can actually win and get the metal card. That's true.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm not stopping. If I get in top, I'm not stopping. This time I'm not getting triple charm for game.
I mean, not like you had a choice, though. You make it sound like you had a choice, but you did not. You just got scammed.
Refuse.
You just got scammed.
I'll refuse.
It is what it is.
I will. I flip the table this next time. I'll flip the table.
Sivir/MF Aurora. I think Aurora has too many problems in set 2. Randy thinks it's decent. We've listed all of it, though. We've listed all of it. So if you want to have the full detailed explanation, you can go back to the VOD. But if I were to sum it in one sentence, Dead Bloom is bad into Punch First. Aura overall is bad into purple cards, Fight or Flight and Rebuke. And the top decks are playing either one or both. So I think, like, going Tempo with Sivir is probably way better than going Aura anyway.
I wouldn't say that for sure now. I will try Sivir Aura very soon. I'm gonna try Aura probably tonight and see how it goes.
I don't think Sivir is like top of the pop anyway. And I think Aura is just in the worse spot than it was set 1. I love the shovel.
Yeah, I love the shovel. I'm the shovel believer.
Yeah, I'm
shovel. Shovel is the best card in set 2.
I'm a shovel enjoyer too.
Or you just go shovel Rasa, and then you... Oh my god, that's cracked. Shovel on the Sivir champion, play Rasa, and then you own the hunt, and just gank over and play another Rasa, and it's great.
Yeah. I do agree that we have access to Not So Fast to counter purple spells in green. You're talking about Eri, but like as a whole. The problem is like if your deck is made up of counters, you're not playing. So you have to include counters plus buffs plus units plus toolbox like char and stuff. and then you just can't fit it in a single deck, and you will see like parts of it, but not everything, which is the problem. But yeah, Shovel is just completely correct. We agree with that. Anything else that we could have missed potentially? Unicorn is not Copium anymore. I don't like Unicorn. I think you probably have to run it for some matchups, but I don't like the courts still. Anything else? No, I think we're pretty much done with you guys' questions. Anything you would want? Do you think Irelia would play purple as? With cold shots.
I tried to. It doesn't. It's not. The issue is you already like runes so much. You need now to include the seals in your deck. I don't know why play Irelia. With like it's pretty strong. Okay, playing Rasa and accelerating Rasa with like boots is pretty strong. The issue is if you don't see seals and you try to play this kind of Irelia build,
yes,
it's not gonna go well. It's gonna be
yes, sir. Play Rasha, recycle one, equip boots, recycle one, accelerate it, recycle one, attack, punch first. GG's. GG's. Yeah.
No, you can still. You'd still have access to all the buffs and stuff, right? The main thing is just it's expensive in power, and Irelia is also expensive in power.
Yeah, Irelia is expensive. Irelia is high maintenance. She's like that girlfriend that always asks for stuff and you have to give it, otherwise she just leaves the table. So like, yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is if you don't give the stuff fast enough, you're losing because turn 4 opponents is kind of already winning because you've been passing your first turns.
Yep. But I think the better people are going to get with Irelia, the better the deck is going to be. I prefer the
I don't know. I don't think the skill cap is that high. I just think the issue is you kind of limited in your option in the way that you have to play Irelia like your first big guy fast. So that's already a fixed turn. You can't really do much in the early turns. And I don't think the issue is after. I think the issue is turn 1 and 2 and 3. So we'll see. And I'm coming to Bologna. Are you going to Bologna?
Not sure yet, but I'm praying we get there. I could give you intel without sharing everything. It's either I'm casting Bologna for sure. Like I'm 100% casting Bologna. Option A, ideal plan is we get to Bologna for a week. We do something like Content Villa or something. We party, and then I cast from the venue. This is the better option. Other option is I'm casting in Paris. It's A or B. Okay. I'm praying for A, but
do you have a ticket for Bologna?
No. I'm not playing. I'm casting for sure.
Okay, so you don't have a ticket. So you can't even play if you wanted to.
No, I did not even try to look for a ticket because I knew I was going to cast.
Okay.
So it is what it is. I'm committed.
Hey, thank God for top 64 I can have a ticket. Otherwise I would be cooked.
Yes, with French.
Thank God for the top.
Oh, you got a ticket because of Vegas? That's confirmed?
I get a ticket for sure for one of the 2 events because I topped Houston.
Okay, this is confirmed. This is guaranteed because it was like they threw it out in the
UVS
wild.
Said so. Like... UVS said so. They tweeted they would. So
yeah, but you did not get any intel since then, right? Like they did not confirm or like reach out or whatever. Like it's just the tweet in the wild.
But UVS UVS official account said that we would get a ticket.
Yeah, they said it, but also they did not say how, which is the question I'm wondering.
Oh, they said they will reach out in January.
Yes, RV, I did do that. Dave tweeted and said they would be contacted. Okay, so we're waiting for the content stuff. I can confirm
I will go
OTP,
to Bologna and burn the venue if I don't get a ticket from that after they tweet about it, okay? I announced it, no.
The thing is, if you get to Bologna and you don't have a ticket, you can just jump on the cast with me. Would be great, right?
Sure. Fuck that. I don't cast. I don't watch games. I don't cast. I just play.
Look at that madman. Look at that madman. Yeah, it was me on OTP. Unsure if I can say I'm going to be casting on OTP right now. But yeah, that's in the considerations, of course.
Okay. See you guys. Done. Thank you for listening.
It was pretty cool. And, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, I will share the link now though. Don't forget to follow Randy's Metafy. It's free, and whenever they release a guide that you want to read.
I have 3 free guide. Timo with Prismat, and then Kaisa and Master Yi. And I'm gonna make a paid guide, free guide, whatever for set 2 as well.
It's your time to promote your stuff. You have 30 seconds, then you have to pay me. Convince
Yeah,
them
that's
to
it.
convince
That's
them to
it.
read it.
It's good. Go look at it. It's good.
Yeah, it's super
I mean,
good.
so far everyone has been pretty happy with the stuff, and a lot of people have gotten the stuff. So that means it's pretty good, I guess.
It
Or
is
that
what
they
it is.
silence all the haters.
Did
That's
the
one or the other.
Timo figures go well?
No, pretty decent, yeah.
Decent.
Yeah, pretty decent. We released it after like most of the tournaments, so it's also.
Yeah, that's the question I was wondering about.
Uh,
So yeah, okay, makes sense.
but no, it's pretty decent. I'm
Okay,
probably
great.
gonna do a severe guide if I don't give up on the deck. I
Uh-huh.
already kind of gave up, but maybe I'm gonna go back to it.
I mean,
And
the good thing with Riftbound is
whatever
you
I
can make a
play.
metal chord guide.
No, fuck that. I'm winning the metal card, not making the guy to win it.
Look at that toxic trash ass. I'm going to Bologna, but if I don't get it yet, I will burn down all of the event and I'm going to play Silver and I'm going to get the metal chord. Fuck that. That's why I love you, Randy.
Exactly. All of that what you said is true.
That's why people love you. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Was pretty cool, pretty chill. And
Okay, see you guys. Bye, thank you.
let's
And,
do that same stuff again before Bologna.
yeah, maybe from China, I guess.
Yeah,
If
after
the French
after
government
China is
allows me
done,
to.
like in the week after China is done, and we are waiting for Bologna. You down?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, see you. Bye. Good night.
See ya, Randy. Have a good night, my friend. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Hope you liked it. Hope you did enjoy the stream. Thank you so much for the follows and stuff. I was busy chatting with Randy, so I did not have so much time to thank y'all. But thank you so much, Goring, Menga, Stuart, Sebi, Chiro, Kikin, Kinmin, and Kanji Ben, and all of y'all. Thank you so much for the support. Welcome home. Hope you're doing great. If you like meta riff bounce and content as a whole, you're at the perfect place. And we are going to keep digging into that set 2 format now. I have 2 things planned for tonight. The first thing is I want to make a bit of a dive into this week's Chinese list because I did not have the time to do so. And I think there's still a lot to learn. So we could do that together, just going over the Riftdex website, trying to find a bit of text, trying to confirm the evolutions of the format, because it's been like about a month since my first guides. By the way, maybe some of y'all don't know. I'm just going to ping the link in the chat, but I do run a YouTube channel dedicated to Riftbound, and I do have a video for each and every of the 12 legends out of Spiritforge to give you a baseline decklist and a baseline game plan that you can use to start your testing with the legends to prep for Bologna. So feel free to check there. The idea is that we kind of check on the format's evolutions and the list and stuff, see if there's any new spice that we won't want to try. And then I kind of want to go for a more chill stuff, because we already did a lot of theory. And I kind of wanted to have a look at the Runes and Rift event with the old guys, and especially trying to break down the Draven myth. So how about we pick a Draven match, whatever matchup, maybe something that is not Draven, but we could pick a Draven mirror match, whatever. And then we try to watch that game 1 times or like 2 times speed, and 1.5, sorry, or like 2 times speed. And I just like pause and I like, okay, this is a mistake you should not make if you want to be Draven. This is how you should play this. This is how the interaction should go, blah, 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 blah. So that I can give you guys keys to be Draven, because I feel like if you've not played the matchup enough, and if you're not aware of what you have to do, or at least rather to not do, like not give free combat and stuff, you could very well just lose to Draven and feel like very frustrated about it. And I feel like that's where most of the current talk on Draven comes from on socials and stuff. People being like giga frustrated because they kind of don't know how to play into it. And then like when they make a mistake, they get punished super bad and they lose the game. And they're like, yeah, Draven is cracked, should be banned. But there's really a lot you could do game plan wise to try and match Draven. You think Fiora is the top deck? Yep, I believe Fiora is an absolute top deck in the current format. She's not one of the big 3, but she's definitely a very decent deck to play and pilots. So let's kill this, and have a quick dive into the Riftdex database. By the way, if you guys don't use Riftdex, I suggest you start doing so. It's a super cool website that kind of lists all of the topping lists of the later tourneys It goes from like locals, as you can see, like 16 players stuff events, to like bigger events, as in like city challenges and stuff. And that's what we are going to try to take a look at, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening in China, because there's a lot of city challenges there, and so there's a lot to learn regarding like deck lists and stuff. And as you can see, like, let's say this is the Runes and Rift Invitational, one of the tourneys I want to take a look at today. You just have like all of the lists that they managed to gather, and then you can just click on like any, let's say Puke, and then you just have all of the lists and all of the things you would want to take a look at. So like this is super giga cool. Like this is something that you really definitely want to use if you're into deck building and want to try to understand a lot of stuff and like get ahead on like meta trends and stuff. So let me use Chrome, because somehow this does not work on Opera. Here we go. How about we start with the Runes and Rift? Also, I could give you a bit of context on these events. What does your Fiora deck look like? I could show it. Give me a second. I did close the archive thing, the Midambi. Here, and my decks, Fiora, export, mage, Rumble, Spirit of Fiora. I don't think so. I think Fiora is pretty good. Would I say Fiora is like top tier? Absolutely. Like absolute top of the pop? No. But she's a very decent deck. Here's my list, and I'm just going to... give me a second. Let me just get this here. I'm just going to show you my guide video, or at least share it. Here we go. Here we go. Give me a second. It's laggy. Change account. Okay, great. This one. And now to my channel. Videos. Fiora, where you at? Here we are.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing great.
Here you go. Here you go, guys. So, if you want to check on the channel, it's free, it's on YouTube. You can just like check it whenever. I have guides, early guides for all 12 of Spirit Forge Legends, Jax being the last one, releasing tomorrow, hopefully. And if you want to have a cool baseline for your deck and some sort of game plan idea, you can just check it. There's one for each and every. Not all of them are top tier decks, like Renata. I mentioned it several times in the video. Don't expect this list to be a top tier deck. This is probably close to what Renata can do best though. So feel free to check this. I think you can remove your last name in your profile if you want to not appear on PA images. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, archive. Yeah, I think I need to, but whatever, it's fine. You like bomb spells more than gear? Yup, I do. Gears don't allow you to ramp, whereas bomb spells allow you to ramp. Let me just use this, yeah. If I play a gear and then I equip it to make someone mighty, I de-ramp one to equip the gear, then I re-ramp one with Fiora, so I don't ramp. That's the first thing. Second thing is gears make your units permanently mighty, which means you need another unit to make her mighty on the next turn, which is something that I did not like. Third thing is, in my opinion, when you're playing Fiora, you really don't want to spend time developing something that's not units, because you're going to be playing cards like Punch First, like Riposte and stuff. So you're going to want to use a bit of your runes to play units, then have runes open to play spells, be it offensively or defensively. And if you want to throw equips in the mix, it becomes weird. Because then you have to have runes to play units, then runes to have equips, then runes to have to play spells, and you can do all of these efficiently. So I'm not playing equips, and I've seen quite a bit of success with it. If you really want to see how the deck feels like, you can click on the gameplay channel there. And there's also gameplay for the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did play even 5. I did play 4 rounds at locals that you can check here. And I also played 1 online versus Savages, which you can also check on the channel. Anyways, done with the promotional stuff. But yeah, I like bomb spells more than I do like gears in Fiora. So let's check for anything interesting in that Runes and Rift Invitational format. So for you guys who would need a bit more... Oh, by the way, I should go on Chrome once again. For you guys who would need a bit more context, I believe this tournament was dedicated to everyone that did was it win or top? I can't remember clearly, but at least did great in the previous Runes and Rifts Invitationals. And this like was, as in the name mentions it, this was only for invited players. So there was no random in there. Most of the names you see in there, you probably know about them already. Tog is pretty famous. Puke is pretty famous. Dizzy has been top 8, I believe, in Houston with the Annie deck. Blah, 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 blah. Like Prismet, you know about these guys. There are a lot of shout-outs. Yeah, Terrasadon. Like, there are a lot of, like, well-known, quote-unquote, players in this event. And all of these top players gathered for this tourney. And so this is what we could call the first top tourney in the West, playing set 2. It was held online, of course. We don't have a lot of experience, but still we get to have a lot of the early takes from like top players. So what we could look at first is the top 8 list that they did share on their Twitter. Top 8 deck list from our first ever Riftbound. And then if we want to look into some specific deck, we can just go back to the Riftbound thingy and be like, okay, I want to see that Ornn list, whatever. Let me just jump to Ornn and we'll get to see Ornn. So regarding the top lists, this is invitational, right? I'm not Dumby. Yeah, I'm not Dumby. Okay, so this is pretty much what I expect from a Draven there. Let me just bring out the pen, by the way. Epic pen. Here we go. Vex could be a cool tech cards. So I guess you play Vex because of the cold shot package. And then it just makes a lot of your interactions. Oh, you play the piercing like 2. But does not match with Vex. So it's to pay rebukes and stuff less, I guess. Fight or flight stuff less. Okay. I could see Vex fitting in a Draven list. But do you want to play like that many Vexes and Dariuses? And no Kai'Sas? Probably not, right? Probably not. I would probably play either one of these, but not like both of these, and no Kai'Sa. I feel Darius could be cut down to like 1 or 2 copies though. It's probably fine. Do we have anything spicy in here? Edge of Night I really don't like. We have the Vex too. We have the Brynir. I feel like Brynir we need to talk about though, because this is a card that we're seeing pop up in Brynir. In main deck for Draven these days. And I really think Brynir is super interesting. So Brynir is a set 1 card actually that did not see play in set 1. That reads, when you play me, opponents can't play cards this turn. And that's a 6 energy 5 might card that does not have a power cost. So it's not like that bad if you have to play it as vanilla. It's not like super giga good, of course, but it's not that bad. And the idea is that you develop a board, you set up for Brynir, and then you play Brynir and you instantly beat the actions in hand, which are punch first, fight or flight, and rebuke. Things to know with Brynir though is that they can play anything that's a reaction in answer to Brynir. So they could, like, if you play Brynir, they can just go, okay, equip the axe, chain, equip the longsword. If they're playing green, like Irelia, they could go chain, play the flash, bring the unit back to base. So like Brynir is not absolute, but this card is really tailored to beat Draven and punch first, which is interesting. And definitely something that we could see more of in the future. And I think we saw it in the 2nd place deck. And I think we also saw it in the 3rd place deck, right? Yeah, 3 off in the 3rd place deck in the list of, in the Togs list. You might think I'm biased because like Tog is obviously a friend of mine. He's been on the stream quite a few times now. And we've been talking for quite some time. So you might think I'm biased. You might be right. But I really like this list. I feel like aside from Borgain, this is probably the better list, or the list I would be the closest to. I really like this idea of Brynir. This is really a meta call. As in, like, if your local does not have many Draven players, you probably don't want to run Brynir. This is not a like staple list that you have to go for 3 of Brynir every time. But if you expect to match into a lot of Dravens in Top Cut or in like something, this is definitely a card that I could see seeing play. I feel like we could see main deck Brynirs in them Chinese regionals, and I would not be too surprised because I expect Draven to be like top of the pop be it in terms of like representation, or also in terms of like top cut percentage. Thank you for the follow, Jeremy. Welcome home, brother. So Briner is interesting. Bargain I think is shit. I know Tog likes that card, sorry. I really don't like it. It's only good if you have the board, if you have like developed what you needed to. But if you're trying to play from behind and get back in that game, Bargain is definitely not going to help. I'd rather play copies of Briner to beat the rebukes and stuff. Rest of it I do like. Maybe I prefer Blood Rush, sorry, over Cleave. But I'm definitely down to cut these cards. In my guide, I was playing 3 times Blood Rush. And most of the games, I ended up being the aggressive one, scoring points in the early game. And then like Blood Rush was useless. So it was about me having several Blood Rushes in hand and being forced to retreat my units to value the Blood Rush, which is definitely not something that you want. So playing 1 or 2 Blood Rushes instead of 3, I could see that. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. Mono Falling Star, I don't hate it. I was playing 2 off, I believe, in the sideboard. But yeah, or 3 off maybe. But yeah, I don't hate it. In Mono 1 in the main deck because of like the cold shot, because of the stack deck, because of the draw power of Draven. Like, you just have so many tools to dig your deck and find them single one-offs that I feel like playing one-offs in this deck is not too wacky compared to like what I would usually say for other decks. I think one-off bargain when you are drawing a bunch isn't too bad. It's not too bad, but once again, it's not about like drawing or not. It's about the spot you're in, right? And I feel like bargain is not a card that I want to see often, but it might be me and bias. Just want to say thanks for the YouTube videos. Perfect balance of pace, reasoning, and explanation. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you so much, brother. I do have issues with these videos though, but thank you so much for the kind words, first and foremost. I do have issues with these videos. My videos are mostly theory, because I believe gameplay is biased. As in, like, if I'm only showcasing gameplay, and I pair into a matchup in which, like, let's say Ride the Wind is super favorable, and then I win through Ride the Wind, you guys would probably be like, oh yeah, but I have to play 3 Ride the Winds and stuff, and like, this is biased, in a way. Whereas, like, in theory, I can tell you this card is here for, like, A, B, and C matchups. It's bad in, like, D matchups, and that's how you want to use it most of the time. And I give you some sort of, like, objective POV of the card, right? The only problem is that I also can kind of feel the fact that, like, gameplay helps you put images on the theory that I'm speaking about. And so I've not found the correct format yet to, like, fuse both theory and gameplay into something that's not a 50+ minute video that's, like, not appealing to anyone but me. So I don't think there's a perfect solution. At least I've not found it yet. But if you guys have any recommendations in the chat as into what you'd like to see in terms of content, I would be down to take notes, because a lot of people have been asking in the comments and I don't have a definite answer. I'm like, I get that you want gameplay, and that's why I run a gameplay channel, but there's not gameplay for each and every single deck. It would be like just an abysmal amount of time. And then theory, I think, is the best, but yeah, I could kind of see it. Casting over your local games. I've considered it. It's just too much time investment compared to the play quality, I feel like. Not to be mean or anything. Includes me too, because I'm like trying to play a different deck each and every week. So I'm not like super good at what I do. So I'd rather spend my time casting and analyzing games from top players that have like playtested the format a lot, rather than me playing against most of the time opponents that I don't really know on like decks that I don't really know either. But I mean, I'd rather cast like competitive games, I feel like. I mainly appreciate your tone. It's casual but confident. Many other rebound creators have a fake caster voice. Fake caster voice? Huh. Not so sure what it's about, but thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, it's probably because I'm never ever going to be talking about something that I'm not confident is at least true, or at least I believe to be true at the time. So if I put in the work, I'm confident. I guess that's what you're talking about. If I don't, I'm just going to say I don't know. Some people have a hard time saying they don't know, which does not make sense. I have no clue about like mid-range MF. I'm not going to say, yeah, mid-range MF feels good. No, I'm just going to say I have no clue, and that's about it. It's fine to not know everything. There is to know, right? Kaisa. So this is the version that I was talking about when we were trying to rank these decks. Oh, I did close the thing. Give me a second. I will find it. Tier maker. Here we go. Here. This is the version that I was talking about when I was mentioning more control. It's closer to what Randy brought to Houston in the like multiple singularities, rain, seekers, stars, piercing, raise. Like there are definitely a lot of removal tools in this deck. I feel like you have to fit the Ferrous Forerunner somewhere though. You really have to fit the Forerunner somewhere. These dudes. I'm going to show cards as of now. I guess most of you guys know about them, but probably some of us don't know about these cards yet, or at least how they were named, since it's still like early days for set 2. So yeah, I'm still going to show the cards for a while. Forerunner, I feel like you have to play in Kaisa. It's like super good in Kaisa. Probably it's either over Hopeful or over the Warps, and I would say it's mostly over the Warps. But he plays them in the sideboard. I feel like you have to play them in the main deck though. These are just like too good not to play. They win into control. They kind of stabilize your game plan into a lot of them mid-game decks because you just push with runner, you at least get a trade if not kill, and then if you don't manage to do so, you have the tokens, you can still trade. It's just too good of cards. Even in Draven, I feel like we have to play it. The problem is like, you can't really play Darius plus Vex plus Runner plus what was the like this guy Briner. You have to pick one or two of them, but I would not be too surprised to see like 2 Briners, then 2 Darius, then 2 Runners. I would not hate that. As much as Draven is drawing, I feel like you could play something like that. And then you have the Kaisas, and you have the Draven Champion, and you have a super good mid game, and you have the one you need when you need it. I was running 2 Runners and 3 Dariuses in my list that I played at locals. But I definitely think Briner is a good option. Is there anything spicier in the top 8? Rek'Sai, Victor, Lucian. Okay. There's definitely some spicier stuff in the 5th to 8th places. Rek'Sai. Huh? What the what? Wait. What the actual fuck is that list? Against Trax? Do they have a round with that guy? I want to see it if they do have it. Rek'Sai. Is it you? Axe. It's definitely against Trax. What the actual fuck is that list? It's kill Rek'Sai with Phoenix. Huh? Uh-huh. But how do you win the game? How? I don't get it. Like, you have, like, this or your only units? How do you... And this, of course. How do you win? How do you score 8 points with this bunch of stuff? I guess you play this because you have the token, and then you can just use it to stack your bottom deck to make sure you can see the cards you want because you cycle so much. So I guess there's that. Triple Vengeance. I think we... Chat, we have to take a look at that Rek'Sai list, right? Dude, like this guy got top 5 at a supposedly quote-unquote stacked tourney, and I don't even get how this list works. It's you have to find the disc. It's maybe you have to find the disc, and then you just keep on accelerating the Phoenix and you win through Phoenix. But it's fake, no? Like, it's pretty much what I tried to bring to Darius in set 1, and it was like super fake. It was like super fake. Let me just update the stream title though, so we don't mislead people. Top decks of the week into VOD review. So I feel like we have to review a Rek'Sai game at some point. This is mostly Control Victor, yeah. Now they play the Broker because they realize their deck is quite poor, hungry, but aside from that, it's unitless Victor. That's what I was talking about when I mentioned like 3 to 6 units, like it's this 6. Jace is just a way to cheat out the armory, but if you can't find it, you just play the armory at some point when you're in control, and then you just perma control the game and win off that. I think one big mistake that I did see, I think it's getting better lately, but some of these lists were not running Stupefy. I think you absolutely have to run Stupefy in the current formats, especially because it allows you to beat the 7 might units, which there are a lot of, especially because of Draven. Kaisas and Draven with the axe are 7 mites, and that's a problem when you're playing into them, because Singularity does not clear, and if they leave them in the base, you really don't have a good way to deal with them aside from Call, the Wick, and they can play around it, or Below the Breath and Decree, which forces a lot of resources on your side of the board. So playing Stupefy is like super important, and also it helps this deck's consistency as a whole. So I really think you have to play that card. A lot of decks were cutting it at first, but I really think you have to play it. There's no way you just cut Stupefy in the current formats. You have to not enough draw without it. Also opens up combos with wages and stuff. Yeah. There's that. True, with wages. But the bigger thing, when I was playing Draven and paired into Victor at locals, I was like, the only way I lose this game is if they have Singularity plus Stupefy. Else, they just go Singularity, I let my Kaisa whatever die, I axe my Draven in base, and they just lose the game on the spot because they tapped everything to not clear my board, which is like game over for this kind of build. So yeah, definitely have to play Stup. At least it gives you some winning lines in some matchups. And then Lucian got 7th place, huh? Of all decks, Lucian's got the 7th place. Well, is there a Lucian game? Lucian. So we know round 2 is Rek'Sai. Is there Lucian somewhere? Ezreal Draven. Rek'Sai Draven. Oh, this is Gentrax 2 at 3-0. Okay, so we'll just watch that one instead. Or the first one, whatever. What's the first matchup? It's into Fiora. Might as well try and see it work into Draven then, if we can. I mean, Fiora is not bad either, but do we have Lucian somewhere? Or do we not? Draven. And then Draven. No, we don't have Lucian. Okay. So we're not going to be able to see that Lucian misfunction. Maybe Lucian did decent because of the high numbers of Draven, but even then, like, how can you win as Lucian into Rebuke and that stuff? My problem with Lucian, we talked about it during the tier list, is that most of the time, you just don't have a way to deal with removal. Like, they just play Challenge, Falling Star, Singularity, Rebuke on your carry, whichever one it is, because basically in Lucian, what you want to do is try to equip a lot to some units, ideally Lucian Champion, and then just like move around the board. So I guess the idea with this list, which is pretty interesting, is we play this, and we abuse these tools to ready the Lucian whenever it enters the board, and if they rebuke it back to end, we can just have it enter ready again next turn because of... Oh no, Rek'Sai does not work, so it's only when you play it from Champions and the... That's super interesting. I don't see a way this deck wins into removal. I would be super eager to see a game. Aside from that, I feel like it's pretty classic Lucian lists. Rek'Sai is a cool tech, but yeah, we have the wall up also to ready, so that must be the plan. It's like turn 2 rather, Rek'Sai, and then turn 3 Lucian accelerated because of Rek'Sai. You played from the champion zone. I might as well show Rek'Sai, maybe you guys don't know about it. Rek'Sai is every unit that is not played from end has access to accelerate. And so you can accelerate your Lucian from champion zone, which feels pretty good, especially with how strong that Lucian is. So I guess it's play something that readies on turn 2, play Lucian on turn 3, ready it, and then move it around the board with like the pursuits, with like the equips and stuff, and it's Lucian MVP. But what if they do rebuke though is the question. Maybe if they don't rebuke on the spot, you have enough time to set up like Kaisaki and Ioni, one of these, runner, and then you like if Lucian gets removed, you can just switch all of the gear to one of these and then this becomes your carry. I guess like that's probably the plan. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like super good, but I see how it could surprise opponents. I could see it. Okay, and then ace place is control Victor again, right? Yeah. It's control with the face breaker, but it's control definitely. By the way, since you're not playing Death Grip in Fiora, did you try it yet? Yup, I did try it. I am aware of the combo that goes like, you make this dude mighty, and then you kill it with the Death Grip, and you draw. So basically, Unsung is, if I'm mighty when I die, draw 2. And so the combo that you want to achieve with Fiora is Unsung on boards. You make it mighty with a spell. So whatever, let's say Call to Glory to make it 5. And then you play the Claw, you kill the Unsung, and you draw, and then you give its might to something else, and you punch with that something else. The thing is, not only does it require a lot of runes, but also, you play Unsung, so you play a chord. You play Call to buff it, so you play 2 chords. You play Claw to kill it, so you play 3 chords. And in Resolution, you draw 1 of Claw and 2 of Unsung, which makes it 3. So basically, this does not make card advantage. It's just a 3-in-3 trait that is a bit valuable because, like, you can push and stuff, so you still get a bit of value, but you don't create card advantage. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you don't see all of these together, the cards instantly become, like, not super good. And the third thing is, I really do prefer Pit Rookie as an option to buff this Fiora and make it mighty and being able to withstand it without a power cost. Rather than the Unsung, which has to be paired with something to be efficient. You could attack first. Yeah, that's kind of variable because you can value the might buffs, but it's not like giga valuable. And you already have enough might in this deck to not resort to this. I'd rather play removal course that this deck can't do on its own rather than grip. As in like challenge and gentleman. Like this is something that my deck can do, right? You look at the like entirety of the rest of my deck, I can't snipe anything in base. So I'd rather play maximum copies on these cards to be able to like do something that my deck can't already do, rather than trying to draw cards and not being like super efficient at it. Which I feel like I'd rather play this. This is my draw engine anyway. And then like you have a bit of stuff in there, but not a lot. It is what it is. At least that's my opinion on the stuff. Is there anything else to look at that's interesting enough in these lists? What spicy stuff do we have? Solution we checked already. Ezreal. What's the Ezreal list? I feel like it has to be spells, right? Switcheroo, I don't like it, but I see it. Seals. Yeah, it's a spells list. In the end, that's kind of what you have to... Whirlwinds? So you bounce your Ezreal and you bounce your Fizz? Is that the plan? So Whirlwind is like, each player bounces one of their units, bounces it back to the end, but then you also have to bounce one of yours. So is it like, play Ezreal, discard 1, draw 2, Whirlwind, bounce your unit, bounce my Ezreal, replay it, discard 1, draw 2? It's like too expensive now. If this was like 2 energy and a power, I would probably see it. But 4 energy must be for a specific matchup, but I can't really figure out which one. Is it to beat something like Aurora? But then it's like pretty bad in Aurora, right? I don't see it. I don't have the vision for the Whirlwinds. Aside from that, pretty classic. Pretty much what I would be expecting of an Ezreal deck. We have the Nocturne though. Makes sense. The Rights in there. Yeah. This list just makes sense. Draven E? Do we have something spicy or is it just like Meishi? Oh, it's definitely Meishi. It's definitely like remains of set 1 formats, but definitely not the strong deck, unfortunately. He has too many problems now. And that card, like Punch Burst, is one of them. Okay, I don't like that build. Irelia, top 16. Tier 0 Irelia. I don't like Edge of Night. I don't like Edge of Night. I don't like Boots. I think I don't like the Siren either. I mean, I could see the Siren. I don't like it, but I could see it. My updated Irelia list looks something like that now. Give me a second. Irelia. I'm probably running this at locals this weekend. By the way, this is probably my last locals in a while, because I'm casting every Chinese regional. So this is gonna be most of my weekends for the past, like the next month. And then I have a show the week we don't have a regional, and then I cast Bologna. So I probably won't be able to play locals for a while, but I will try to provide gameplay with like Savages if we can do that. By the way, we are going to be live streaming some gameplay this Friday night with Savages. So the day after tomorrow, if you want to hop on, feel free. We're going to be playing set 2 on TCG Arena together. This is my current build as of now. Whirlwind is for Rin Runner. Oh, okay. Runner. Is it that good into Runner? I mean, like, you play Whirlwinds, you bounce their Runner. I mean, they bounce their Runner, so you don't target it. And then they just replay it, right? Casting China tournaments at lifetime or replays. Most likely, we'll be casting at a slightly different time schedule. We'll probably start at like 9 to 10 a.m. French time. So we can cast the entire day with French people watching the stream, because we'll be casting in French, of course. It says may return, can't they just decline? Nope. Does it say that? I think it does not do. Oh yeah, may. True. Is it the correct translation? The feels weird. Oh, is it if they have one, they have to? I to be fair, I've never seen this card seeing play, so I'm kind of interested why they would play Whirlwinds. Yeah, it's May. You can target their runner. You really don't target, right? It's about them having to bounce. Yeah, weird. Just straight up weird tech. I kinda don't have the vision anyway. I feel like I don't like that cost anyway. Like, no matter how this resolves, let's say best case scenario, they are forced to bounce whatever you want them to bounce. 4 energy and the power is still like too expensive in my opinion. You can choose any units. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it's, you play Whirlwinds, you choose their unit to bounce it to their end, and then they, like, you choose the runner to bounce it to their end, and then they can choose one of yours, but then they have to bounce something like Fizz, Ezreal, whatever, and they kind of don't want to. So it's ideal scenario. Still, I don't get it. But yeah, I see the point. Does not mean I agree though. You can choose the runner while playing it as it does not target. Yeah, makes sense. But still don't like it. Alright. Well, it's classic Irelia. I just don't like some of the chords, but this I heard was interesting though. Someone asked me, have you seen Prismat's list? And I was like, nope, not yet. Okay, so we are on 3As here. Interesting. Wow. Wait, I'm actually dying. Let's stop trolling. 3 Defies, 3 Not So Fast, 3 Win Wall, 3 word that last 3 Svelsonger. No. You'll never. 3 seals. You'll never see me playing this. You'll never, ever see me playing this. Count of chords I ate in that list. And I'm not saying it's a bad list, right? It's just like a mix of every single chord I ate in the game right now. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Rest of it I could kinda see it. 9 counters though. But I could kinda see it. I mean, if Prismet did play it, it's probably what he had success with in testing, or at least close to it. I feel like all of these chords are so bad though. So bad. Like, if you're playing into aggro, like, all of these don't do shit. Like, they really don't do anything. They don't help you out. And, yeah, I just don't like it. I mean, if Ornn has to be this to be decent, which could be the case, I'm downgrading it to the tier list. I'm not saying Prismat is trolling. I'm not saying, like, this is a shit-ass version of Ornn. I'm just saying, if Ornn has to be this, then might as well not play Ornn. I really don't like it. I mean, yeah, you're playing seals when your legend is an actual seal. You're playing Svelsonger, you're playing Word Atlas. Oh, nah, yeah, I can't say that. Does not mean he's wrong, though. I might be wrong, I just hate it. This is probably Control Victor, right? But in locks. Oh, we play the mechs? Huh? We play Forecasters just for the vision stuff. So it's about like drop Forecaster vision, and it's the better turn one that you could find. Okay, I guess. Why would you not play 3 Brockers over another caster? Then we have the Vanguard combo, of course. Okay. Weird take, but basically it's control unitless deck, just as Victor does. Do we have anything else? Fiora. Ooh. Soud is playing Fiora. Interesting. Top 32, huh? How did it go? How many points? Can we have the intel? Can we have the records? Probably not, right? But top 32? Meh. Feels pretty bad. Yeah, okay, he's playing a gear Fiora list. I mean gear. There's Warmug, there's Triforce, and that's about it. Okay, I don't like it. I already explained a lot of Fiora, so I'm not going to elaborate a lot more. But I think gears are just straight up not the way in Fiora. I do like a part of this lineup though. Like these chords are what makes the deck good. These though, and this. O2, it was double bracket, single elimination. Okay. So it's like, they lose round 1, then there's a loser bracket, but they lose round 2, and so they're out. Okay, I could see it. Yeah, I just don't like that list, but I guess it's on me. And the Lucian stuff too. I just don't like that idea of... I've seen a lot of people talk about this combo for Fiora, as in like, drop Lucian, equip it, conquer, move out, like Mosquito gameplay once again. Why would you go Mosquito gameplay when one rune open, they have to trade into something that lasts 10 might-ish. I feel like that's one of the biggest strengths of Fiora while testing it. It's like, you have a billion runes, like let's say you have 10 runes, you spend 5 or like 4 to play like yellow Fiora, you have 6 open. Of these 6, you're using like 2 to play something like a challenge and pushing, and then you have like 4 open, and they have to come and try and win a trade in Fiora having 4 runes open, which mathematically could be negate any spell plus a billion might, plus like plus 5 might, plus like 4 0 runes plus 3 might, and then they still have a rune open. Like, Fiora is just too crazy at fighting. Like, you can't do the math into Fiora. The only time when you can do the math when attacking into Fiora is when Fiora does not have enough cards in hand, so you can calculate what each and every card could be and try to beat it. Aside from that, if Fiora has like 5 cards in hand and 3 runes open, you can't punch in the battlefield. It's impossible. They could just have too much. So, yeah, I don't like that list, but maybe there's some good ideas in there. I just don't think they fit what I want to do with the deck. Victor, blah, 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 we know about it. Another Horn list by Willow this time. What is this about? It's about 3 Horns. I like this more. I feel like this fits the overall aggro problem better. As in like Pit Crews and Borders to restand in the early game. Pit Crew is when you play gear ready me, and Border is if you have 2 gears, I enter ready. So both of these cards are free-ish accelerate, which I like. Cloth, I don't like it, but if you want to play these many gear-dependent cards, I could see it. Angel, Zonia, Sterak. Yeah, Sterak is super important in Ornn, I feel like. Sigs, I don't like Forge Fire, but I think Sharia you have to play, obviously. And then Sver and Wind in the main to try and deal with the beams. I would probably play not so fast in the main and Wind in the side, but... yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad, I don't hate that list. It's closer to what I believe Ornn can do best than what Prismet showcased. But once again, he probably saw success in testing and is a better Riftbound player than I am, so there's that. Seaver, is it Shovel? It is Shovel builds. New Rough. And that the guy that won like about 2 weeks ago with like this sort of builds did not go as well this time, I guess. Very similar to the build I played. Very, very, very extremely similar to the build I run. Except he runs Kiana and Confront, which I run none of these. But aside from that, yeah, it's pretty much the build I decided to run. And the Ezreals, of course. Alright. And then there's a volley that surprisingly ended up top 32 with volley. Huh, who would have guessed? Volley seeing top 32, last place. Nah, who would have guessed? Okay, so it's mid-range control for volley as Randy was talking about. No Aurora? Oh, Aurora is in there. 3, 6, 9 big units, plus a champion, plus a lot of toolbox. I mean, I see it, I just don't like it, but it is what it is. I feel like Aurora is pretty bad in set 2. There's too much. There's purple, there's punch first, there's gear removal. I feel like you can't really do well with Aurora. Might be biased though, because I was not an Aurora believer in set 1 neither. But I was not saying like it's trash. I was just saying I don't like it. Now I really think it's not as good as it used to. Can we have somewhat recent, like, yeah, let's do this and filter by like big player counts. New Year event? Speed Forged? What's that about? Oh, Azier. Top of the pop. Let me check. Is it like aggro? Where do I click? Here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck is that? Okay. I was expecting some of it. I was not expecting Fiora and Tasty. Someone did talk about the other Fiora in Azier. This one? Which one? Where are we at? Fiora. This one that I did not hate the idea. As in, like, you drop this, and then you can just equip it to make it mighty accelerate. So it's a pseudo accelerate. And then it can also accelerate your tokens because, like, you have a Sand Soldier, you equip BF because of Weapon Master, and you pay a rune, you accelerate it. I did not hate the idea of playing this Fiora. The other one, though, maybe I'm Dumbo and I don't have the vision. I guess Unsung is like equip BF, then kill it with Death Grip. Like the same stuff. Or equip Brutalizer, move it around and kill it with Death Grip. Shouldn't this be the other Fiora, though? Feels like there was some kind of like tweak on their decklist and this should be the other Fiora. Because I think like playing this Fiora in Azier makes sense. Playing this one though, I don't see it. Anything spicy? Darius top 16? Huh? Yeah, aggroish yellow hook Darius. Okay. This is not... Oh, it's yellow only Darius actually. Not a single red rune. This is not the deck that performs in set 2, but fun way to play the deck, I guess. And then let's not get to 4 from the top 16. Control only. Yeah. Unitless deck. Okay, gotcha. Do we have anything else tasty to look at this week? City Challenge, Nanjing. Okay. That's what I'm in for. Any? Finally seeing an any top? Oh, by the way, just give me a second. I'm going to use the ads. Like, there's an ad break going on. I'm going to use that ads break to clear my throat. Give me a second, because I'm dying. Oh. Brrr. Once again, being healthy in 2026 challenge failed. First second of it. What the fuck is this? What in the tarnation am I looking at though? You okay? No, I'm not. I'm dying. It is what it is. I'd rather be sick now than when casting one of the regionals. What the fucking fuck is that? So we're playing a mono purple any deck that runs the Fizzes and the Ezreals, but not the Scrap Hips. With triple seals and battering ram. What the fuck is that list? So it's okay. It's drop, like it's mid game, drop seals, then drop Ezreal, then discard 2, then play cold shot, and then pay 2 for battering ram, right? Or play stacked and then play 1 for battering ram. It's something like that, right? But the fact that they don't play Scrap Hip in the main though, like they play zone, they play reanimator stuff, they play triple Ezreal Fizz, and they don't play Scrap Hip though. Huh. I mean, just cut that switcheroo, man. Cut that switcheroo, cut that blood rush, and play the fucking Scrap Hip. Please. I pray the lords. Looks like a bad Seaver. Yeah, looks like a bad deck. Yeah. Seaver is 100% better. Like, Battering Ram? Battering Ram, maybe you guys don't know about Ram though. Battering Ram is... I'm dying, guys. I'm literally dying, but it is what it is. Is costing 1 energy less for each card you play this turn to a minimum of 1. So I guess the idea of this list is to go for a big ass combo turn, as in like, yeah. Turn like 4, maybe you have like 4 runes, 5 runes. You play like Seal into Ez, into Cold Shot, into Stack Deck, into Ram. And like on 4 runes, like you recycle 2. But then like you dog all of your deck, you set up a Seal. And you have like Ezreal Ram on board. I think that's the plan. Because aside from that, I don't see it. But yeah, I don't think it's good enough. I mean, it's aggro, so... Ornn top 16. What's the list? Interested. Okay. Azier, Border, Fox. I like that list. It's pretty close to what I play. I don't play Seals and Svel. Because I don't like both these cards. But aside from that, I like that list. Yeah, it has... I feel like it has more flexibility than going all out on turbo. Yeah, I just like that list more. It has all of the toolbox, but a bit less, like aside, except of aside of like the Azier, which was 3 and 2, we also added the Fox. We have the Sterax, which I believe Prisma did not have. We don't have the 3 Svels, but we have 2. We have a bit of like toolbox in the Emperor, the Defies, but not all 3 offs. Yeah, I don't hate that list. I could see it, but nothing like super spicy though. Pretty much what I was expecting. Fiora, show me. you have something tasty? Action, pretty good. Hook, oh, bleh, bleh. Hook Fiora, bleh. Wow, Hook Matron Fiora, bleh, bleh, bleh. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Is there any extra tourney that we want to take a look at, or should we just jump to the VOD review? This was Zijin, Nanjing, we just saw. Third, this weekend was like what? 3rd and 2nd of January, something like that. Wednesday 7th, so Tuesday 6th, Monday 5th, so yeah, 3, 4. This was in Origins format. Shanghai. Okay, let's take a look at Shanghai, and then we can just move on to the VOD review. Which I'm really interested in knowing what the Rek'Sai deck we were going to. Ooh. Orange 2nd place. Tell me more. Tell me. Oh, tell me less. Oh, tell me less. Oh, tell me less. Triple Tiana Crown Guards. Triple Tiana, triple Seal, triple Svel, double Atlas, triple Premonition. Well, now the question is, how do we win a game into Draven having a somewhat decent mid game? Early game, sorry. How do we win into an aggressive strategy with this? Like, they just stomp us to the ground, don't they? Like, they get to 5 points before we can do anything, and then they can just recycle a billion for rebuke. It's fine. We just lose the game on the spot. Huh. Or it's about having, like, specifically Ornn Svel not so fast, and so, like, they have to pay, like, 6 runes to activate rebuke, and so they can't pay twice, I guess. But, bleh, I don't like that list. I really don't. 2nd place, though, has the merit of existing and achieving some results with this. So maybe I'm in the wrong, but I really don't like it. Airy. Oh, sick. Yeah, set 1B. Oh, we played Irelia's in Airy. Why would you just not play Irelia in Irelia? I feel like it's better than Airy, ain't it? I mean, I see the point. You can also stoop your Irelia, I guess. Does not make sense there. No, you don't ready it. So why? I mean, it's just a good green unit overall. So yeah, I guess we don't play Ari because we want to play Irelia, but if we want to play Ari, we can play Irelia. It's just a good great green unit. I could say, wait, what the fuck did I do? What the actual fuck did I do? Whatever. Okay. Fiora. And then it's out of top 16. Equip again? Equips again. I just don't think equips are the way. I just really don't think equips are the way. If I were to play one of them, it would probably be BF though. Because then BF at least gives you big enough amounts of might to get you out of some trade ranges. Whereas like the smaller ones, they're just expensive and useless in my opinion. BF, yeah, I mean I could kinda see BF then with the death group and stuff. I don't want to play it, but I see why they do. Also, like, equip BF to Unsung probably feels better than using a buff. Because then, like, you really do make card advantage because then the BF stays on board and keeps lying around and you can reuse it. So you don't have that negative aspect of, like, making negative card advantage with the Death Group Unsung combo that I was talking about earlier. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the lists. How about we try to jump into one of them Rek'Sai games? Pretty interested. Oh, and Sold is playing Fiora. Let's just check Fiora versus Rek'Sai then. Because I have knowledge about Fiora. And I don't have knowledge about Rek'Sai. So we're going to learn Rek'Sai. We're trying to understand what Fiora wants to do. Pretty interesting. Let's just not have the sound though. So that way we are not bothered. Or we, yeah. Let's just watch 1.5 times speeds. VOD review. What the fuck is that Rek'Sai deck? So as a reminder, that Rek'Sai list is... Where is it at? It's this. This is what we're going to be watching right now. So some sort of like removal Rek'Sai with very few units and the Phoenix and stuff. I guess the idea is to starve out your opponent while playing from the top of the deck, so you always have cards to play. I'm really eager to see if this works, or if this just ends up running into a wall. But since he got 5th place, I guess he won the round. I mean, it's double elimination though, so he could have lost. Let's see. So we are on zones. Okay, that's already a pretty interesting thing to look at. Do we play the... I should have the list there so I could see it while talking. Do we play Candlelit? Yes, we play both Zone and Candlelit. So Rek'Sai has a very hard time drawing cards and cycling her hands. So I could see Zone and Candlelit. And on the other end, Fiora plays the Triforian. Are we HD? What the fuck is that? Piece low quality. Yeah, it's a tiny bit better. Alright, so Forge, play a token. We have a turn 1, which we have some in the deck. We have 3 Broker, 3 Scout, and this. So I guess this is one of our turn 1 plays. Lucian. Okay, that's already one of my problems with Fiora. I'm going to be pausing when I feel like talking about what's happening on board, and then just like playing when I feel like we just can let it go. That's one of my problems with playing Lucian in Fiora. You don't have an equip on board, so you're just dropping a vanilla that does not activate Weapon Master, and then you're going to play an equip, and then you're going to pay power to make it mighty, and then you're going to ramp. But like, you don't make use of that Weapon Master part already. So that's already one of my problems with playing Lucian in Fiora. And you're a combat deck, so you can't really afford to not drop anybody on turn 1. Wait, what? Wait, what? So we have double sin ends. Is that what we see? Float the red, play seal. Tap the seal, play seal. Okay. So this game is already looking super good on Rek'Sai's side. Because we're never ever going to be paying red power to play our red control spells. And we'll always have cards to play with because we can just play from the top deck. We don't need to play from the hand, actually. So I could see how he wins game 1. Token Conquer, Triforian, tap Legends, look top 2. We play the Phoenix, right? We have a Floating Rune, and we have the Red Seal. Like, Phoenix is free, gets it in the rotation. We definitely have to. Also, we have the SO to beat the Lucian next turn if they don't retreat to base. We definitely play the Phoenix here, I believe. Yeah. Phoenix going to see play, and then we see a pass here. After tapping the seal. Okay. Okay, so that's how you want to play it, right? Warmugs on Lucian. Okay, so we pay the power to equip the Warmug. Once again, part that I don't like. Try and conquer. Token is going to die. Lucian is going to be able to conquer buff itself because of the Warmug. So Lucian can go to 5 mites and become mighty, so we can ramp with the Fiora Legends. Of course. And then it's just Ansung and we're trying to hold. Okay, interesting. But then Phoenix trades with the Lucian, no? Do we want to let Phoenix trade with the Lucian? I feel like we don't want to, right? We have the buff on Lucian, though. So we are potentially bluffing for Phoenix get in there, and then we play something like Call to Glory, spending Lucian's buff, and then this becomes 5s. We have a clean trade, and we draw 2 of the Ansung. I guess that's the plan we want to buff, to bluff, sorry. If we are on Sword side. But then, if they have a removal there, I mean, they have to remove Lucian, which is 5 in base too, so they're not in like an insane spot here. Phoenix attacks. Okay, so we don't care about the potential bluff. And we're going to see What is it? They tap 2, but we don't have the chords. Recycle 1. Hidden Blade, okay. It's Hidden Blade on song, right? You really don't want it to be Hidden Blade on Phoenix, do you? It's on Phoenix, okay. You give... Nah, I don't like that Hidden Blade though. You give 2 chords. Okay, so I think the plan here was to bluff that we were going to find a super valuable trade with Onsung. But if they decide to trade, we are left without some sort of response. So I think we have to Hidden Blade our very own Onsung there. Because we only have 2 chords in end now. We are not ahead in runes, and we're like, they can just bring back the Phoenix if they want to. And now we are completely tapped. Oh, I don't like that play. Also, Rek'Sai has Assault 1, this champion. So if they just accelerate the Rek'Sai, they can trade the Onsung right away. Probably they don't want to waste their Rek'Sai there, but if they really need to clear that Onsung, they have an answer. Falling Star going to see play, I believe. Yep. Falling Star clearing the Lucian. And then we have Onsung, but it's useless now. Because we don't have a base anymore. Pay 1, recycle 1, bring back the Phoenix, of course. Phoenix is so good when you can align them control spells and just like perma bring it back. And now we just lost the game on Furious side. Like, we don't have cards in hands. We are not so far ahead in roots. We are not even ahead in rooms. And they have like hopeful Phoenix accelerate champion next turn. And we have to defend into that. Also, we play this yellow thread in the champions, and there's so much stuff that I don't like about this Fury list so far. Because here, let's say here, we are in a spot in which like we need to find some sort of accelerate to keep up the mid-game pressure, or at least develop some board that would be useful next turn. Being able to develop something like set here that only dies to another Falling Star, which they already used one, is super good, because the next turn we can like play the yellow Fury, that's the other one, the 3/3 from the Champions in base, then push with set in a BF that's empty, conquer, spend the buff, make it mighty, ramp 1, pay the rune with like the Fury in base, and on tap set, bring it back to base, and so we never ever give the set in the battlefield. Whereas now, if we decide to develop in base, next turn, if we want to score, we have to give up units. Which I feel like I don't like. Okay, so Onsung to base. Fury in base, yeah. Expected, we have to develop. We make it mighty, but we can't ready it because we don't have the right champion. And so Fury is 5 might deflect in base. Phoenix going to be able to conquer. We can cycle another Phoenix, draw 1. Check top deck. Oh, do we want to play the Star? Star here of the Rek'Sai is not too bad. Either we recycle 2 and we just kill the Fury, but they could have buffs. I mean, they can't have buffs though. What do they have? No, they can't have buff. Because they have 2 runes open, but if you look at a Fury list, where's mine? Fury. Potential buffs. It's either they have riposte or they don't have anything. Because this is an action, so they can't chain it to Falling Star. This is 3 energy, so they can't use it. This is 3 energy and they don't have a buff, so they can't use it. They could have played it for free otherwise, but they can't. So it's really about them having riposte or just losing the game. Would they have been able to use riposte the previous turn? On the Lucian turn, because if they have riposte on the Lucian turn and have the runes open, they probably use it. But maybe they don't. We are deciding to play the Star. Double ping Onsung. Okay, so we decide not to clear the Fury, which I could see if they have riposte, it's a problem. Soul is thinking here. Or let me just put it in the full screen mode, my bad. Onsung going to die. I mean, it's free, right? with the seals. The good thing with Rexa is that you have so much access to the seals that most of the time you're going to see 1, 2 so early in the game feels like kind of a cheat code. Hopeful going to conquer. We have Phoenix in base. Alright, so it's about assembling seals and phoenixes and just playing a control deck. Or Triforce. Oh no, Triforce. Oh hell no, Triforce. So Fiora is going to conquer, beat down the Phoenix. Get to 8 because of the Warmog buff. Discord the pit, throw a cord, pass. And that's the situation I was talking about. When you were on Rek'Sai's side here, so I'm not talking about Triforce. I don't play Triforce. I don't think it's a good way to play the deck, but let's get rid of the Triforce. And say it's whatever buff we have, potentially, whatever. This Fiora is +1 because of this, then buffed because of this. So this Fiora on its own is already 6. But if we attack into it, it becomes 7 on the spot. And then, like, we have to deal with this. And this could theoretically be an amount of might that's, like, stupid. It could be like, this is +5, then this is +5, then this is +5, or all of it, like, tap 4 is +7, so we become, like, 14, whatever. And then they could even spend the buff to play something like Call to Glory. So, like, this amount of runes is stupid, and the thing you have to play into when you're playing against Fiora is the cards in hands. You have to try and reduce the amount of cards Fiora has in hand, and that's why I don't like playing a non-draw battlefield. Because if we play something like Sun Contemple here, we can just push with Fiora, tap an energy, we have way more than enough energy anyway, draw 1, we go to 4 cards, if they trade and force us to use Punch first, we still have 3 cards left, right? And so we don't go down in cards, like we use 1 to win a combat, then we draw 1 of it. And that's obviously even better in like the Dreaming Tree and stuff. I really think you have to play all draw power battlefields in Fiora. So we're going to see a Void Rush being played, digging... What are we digging for, the... Oh, Vengeance. Oh, Vengeance. Okay, Blade, I guess, is seeing play. And we are playing the Deflect with the second seal. And we get the Vengeance in hand, so whenever they play something in base and equip everything, we can just Vengeance and kill it on the spot. So Blade going to try and kill that Fiora. Of course they're going to draw 2 cards, but like, does it even matter? Probably not, right? Thinking on Soul's side, the only thing they could have here is Riposte. So once again, it was about like, do they have Riposte or not? The only thing that deals with this is Riposte. And then we can just use Vengeance and it's game. If they Riposte here. And we are going to see a Riposte. But it's not going to be mitigated with the Legend because we ramped already. And so we are tapping 4 runes. And we are playing Vengeance. And we are killing that Fiora. And it's probably game, right? Like, we have so much on the board now that even if we are behind in runes, that Fiora is going to need so much time to get back in that game. Yeah, it's game over. Okay, I see it. I see the vision. I also think Soul's deck has problems, though. I think with a better Fiora list, you could definitely beat that one. Just having the Accelerate Champion and making sure we keep it live with like the reposted stuff would already be enough to pressure the board way more than we do right now. Conquer, signature found, playing the signature of course. Look for 2 more, call. It's just GG's. It's just GG's, straight up. Call and yes, Soul Scout. Soul is just scooping. Okay. I see how this deck works. Do I like it? Not sure. But I see how this works and this is pretty funny actually. This is pretty funny. Sideboards completed already. I kinda like it. I don't hate it. I just feel like this has flaws. But I don't hate it. I really don't. Now we don't have the Warrens there, so we will have to play the Phoenixes from end, and we probably won't have a double seals opener once again. I mean, if we have it, we're the goats, right? If we have double seals again, we're straight up the goat. It is what it is. We can't see mulligan though, so let's not care about mulligan too much. Warmog pass, at least we potentially trigger the Weapon Master next turn. Rek'Sai going to see play. We want to make sure we have one of them baddies to conquer, potentially, I guess. And Candlelit on the other sides to... So if you don't know about the interaction, Candlelit in Rek'Sai is completely cracked. Because then you... Rek'Sai is, when you conquer, you can look at the top two cards, play one, recycle the other. You may play one, recycle the other. And Candlelit is when you conquer, look at the top two, and you can recycle them. So basically, when you conquer in Candlelit with Rek'Sai, you can look at the top four and play any of it, any one you like. Because like, you look at two with Candlelit, if you don't like them, you put them at the bottom. If you like them, you keep them here, and then you just play them with Rek'Sai. And if you put them at the bottom, you look at the two next ones with Rek'Sai. So you dig four to play whatever you want. Like, this is cracked. Candlelit is such a good battlefield in Rek'Sai. Thank you for the photo, Einer. Welcome home, brother. 4 runes is going to be Yellow Fury, equipping the Warbug, being mighty, recycle 1, ramp 1. Bird is going to see play. So why we play Bird here is interesting, but most likely it's to... Do we have Vanguard in the sideboards? No, we don't. I was thinking it was to trigger Vanguard. The card that reads like Legion, play 2 tokens. Because then you play this, and then if you find Vanguard off the top, you just play it. But we don't have Vanguard in the deck. So what do we play Bird for? I'm not certain. I'm really not certain why we play Bird here. Okay, Seeker, Blade. Both are bad. So we're just going to recycle both. Drop Hopeful and pass. Oh yeah, okay. It's for Hopeful, I'm dumb. It's if we see Hopeful off the top, we can just play it for 2 energy. Same fashion as we did from Ants. I'm just Dumbo. And Coal too, yeah, you're right, Ida. You're right. You're right. If we can find Coal, we kill the Bird. Then we kill the Fury, it's super good. You're right. I'm just dumb. I was focused on like that Legion thing and forgot about the Coal too, you're right. So Fiora trying to get in that. Candlelit going to manage to get in there. So we see that they don't care too much about the Rek'Sai. They're letting it go away for... I mean, maybe they don't have a choice though. But they let it go. Bird, Insigil, recycle 1, floating, score a point. Broker going to see play most likely. I mean, we could play Salvage. Oh, we want to play Salvage. It gets expensive though. Recycling 2 this turn. I mean, we're drawing 1. And we're getting rid of the Warmugs. But... it still is pretty expensive to get rid of such a cheap ass gear. Okay. So they kill Lucian? Yes, they do. We kill Bird, we ramp. Kill again? No, Awful. Pass, okay. Okay, so we wanted to get rid of one of the 2 threats and not fall behind in points, which we managed to do both, so... I don't hate it. That Fiora is ganking. So there's no way we give up a Hopeful in hopes of holding. She's buffed because of the Warmug. Even if the Warmug is gone, the buff is still here. Another Warmug's in play, so that Fiora is going to be equipped. Go to 6 might. Then what? Do we gank in the Sigil? We don't. Okay, we decide to pass. I mean, Fiora is ahead though. So Fiora being ahead probably means that... Oh no, she's not ahead. She's behind. Did we forget to... Didn't... Oh yeah, Fiora did start, but she did play Warmug and pass. Riposte going to see play on that call. We want to try and avoid having that Fiora killed at any cost. But it forces a riposte on us. And once again, that's my big problem with equips. If you've seen, like, if you've focused on, like, the interactions that Sword has been able to put out during, like, game 1 and 2, every time we did riposte, every time we did, or could have done punch first, we would have had to pay 2 runes without mitigating the cost because of the equip we're already mighty. Whereas while playing spells, each and every turn you can mitigate the cost of these cards, which I don't believe he's been able to do even once in these games. That's my exact problem with equips in Fiora. Thank you for the follow, Dexter, by the way. Did not say it. Sorry, brother. Hope you're doing great. So Ripa's going to pump that Fiora. We're going to be ganking onto that Hopeful. Thank you for the follow, Camwe. Welcome home, brother. Then dropping a Unsung in base. And then another equip. I feel like Warmug again. Tapping one feels like Warmug. Or Sabotage could have been too. What do you sabotage in that and like they probably have like 3 to 4 spells anyway. Fiora did manage to get ahead because of the ganking though. So we are now ahead as expected on Fiora's sides. Going to be looking at top 2 and we find both the Seal and the Void Rush. Interesting decision, but we decide to play the Seal. So we make a floating rune and we play the Seal off the top. Then Falling Star, going to see play to deal with the Unsung most likely. Alright, Unyielding to meet that star. Pay 2. Call again, third call. Unsung dying. Gold being generated because we killed a broker. A quick note that chat can't see points. Oh, true. Wait, why can't you? I mean, I'm Dumbo though. Thank you for telling me. Thank you, AQ. You're right. Better like that. Alright. So we get the gold. We used all 3 calls though, and we still have to deal with that Fiora that's ganking over the board each and every turn. Strike down. Okay, we're going to be able to kill that Hopeful. And then we can just re-equip the Warmug, I guess. Oh, we decide not to. Okay, interesting. Second Seal. And now it's just Falling Star again, right? It is. We have the call to save that Fiora. And Rek'Sai passes and it's a 1-1 match. Okay. So this game felt a bit better on Sword Outside, mostly because Genstrax did not see the double seal cheat code so early in the game, which he had to recycle, and so he got stuck at some point having to use like them calls and stuff to try and deal with the boards, but never being able to deal with that Fiora. That being said, if we only had like 1 less unit at some point on South Side, if Cole kills Fiora, that game is over. So it's pretty interesting, but I would not say, like, I would say game 1 Genstrax was very lucky, and I would say Sold Out was somewhat lucky game 2, because of like finding repost into unit to kill to protect Fiora. But it's probably not going his way game 3, because Rek'Sai is going to be going first, and that's not something that we want as Fiora, because then we have to commit to the board because we're playing from behind. And that's when these control strategies shine the most. You have to push, so you have to develop, and then when you develop, you get punished for developing. Sort of. Of course, it's like big T or DR, but you get me. Scout going to see play on Rek'Sai's side, makes sense. We have like 9 turn 1s in this deck, so we have Forge, Scout, and Broker. Lucian, once again, that thing of like not using the Weapon Master. Going second, I don't like it. Bird, going in the Arena's greatest. Okay, so we're playing in the Arena. So we're going to try to play a fast one, and we find the Ko off the top. Yeah, Cole going to kill the Lucian. And we just trade with the Bird. This is so good. And then 2, we have another turn 1. This is super good. Oh, it's Bird again. This is a super good start on Rek'Sai's side. Ram Ounce, okay. Ram Ounce pass. We can't really Fiora though if we don't have anything to make it mighty. Because then they could just like Falling Star and we lose the game on the spot. So we kinda have to try and establish Ram Ounce. Thank you for the follow, Ratrek. Welcome home, brother. But Broker seeing play off the top because of Rek'Sai's ability. Huh. Then 3 and a power. Phoenix going to be set up. That's the thing I was worried about. When you're going second, you most likely don't have the tempo to develop Phoenix. And once you're not in zone to discard it, it could be sticky. The thing is, right now we're going first and we have developed just enough to make this Phoenix okay-ish to drop here. I think going second Phoenix is sometimes a problem outside of zone. Triforce going to be equipped to the Ram Hounds. Pushing into Broker and Birds. Everybody dies, we get the gold, we get the rune. And Ram Hound is able to conquer. We have the Triforce, but Phoenix is going to be able to deal with Ram Hounds if they don't have a spell to remove it before, which they could. This is pretty bad because in this spot, basically anything kills us. Falling Star kills us, Cold Awake kills us, Void Seeker kills us. Like, there's just too much that kills these Ram Hounds. Is there a way in which the play is to develop Fiorine base and go Ram Hound here? So we are 3 runes open. This also probably gives intel that we don't have a good buff in end. Otherwise, we probably would have gone Ram Hound there with a buff instead of like Triforce, I guess. Salvage going to come in and clean the Triforce. And we're thinking on South side, pretty much telegraphing that we have access to the repost. Alright, so we have access to the repost. We are going to be able to ramp one because of Furious ability. But then we also kind of telegraph that we have Punch first in the end. We give a lot of intel there. Because this is 5 might, this has Assault 2, so this is 5 might attacking. So we are just reposting this, making this guy 6 might. If they have any damaging, I mean, if they have damage spells, they could crush. They probably don't though. Maybe they could play Cleave or Blood Rush, try and beat over. I mean, we're pretty much telegraphing that this rune is Punch first though, so we want to have an option if they come fighting. Or at least we're bluffing it. But I don't hate the repost on the Triforce. At least we have to get back into that game somehow because we are so far behind. Another Salvage of the top. Oh! Another Salvage of the top. Okay, this is hard. This is tough for Souls. And then it's just going to be a Vengeance. Oh, come on. So double Salvage on the Triforce, then Vengeance on the Hound. And once again, that scenario of like not having a body in base comes up and we can't do much about it. Whereas with the Fiora champion, once again, the other one, the 3-3 champion, we could have gone like drop it in base, play a spell on it, make it mighty, ready it by paying a rune, ramping a rune so we don't pay nothing, then pushing in the Phoenix, killing the Phoenix. And at least we force them to have some more answers. Which is not going to be the case here. Because we don't have access to that Fiora. We have access to the slower one from set 1. And so we are thinking a lot on South side. On how to make it back into the game. Fiora going to be developed, I believe. Yup, and it's a pass. If they have anything to clear it, we just lost that game. And it seems like they have a vengeance. Riposte going to see play once again. We are making that Fiora mighty. We are mitigating the cost. That's when Riposte shines. That's when Riposte shines. When you can mitigate the cost because of the Fiora's ability, legends. Broker going to see play. And it's just a pass. That Fiora goes back to 4. We'll be able to conquer. But we don't have the War Mugs. So we can't make use of the Monastery. I also feel like Sunken Temple is just the straight up better Monastery now. Ramping because of Pit. Okay, this interaction I like a lot. Like, it's free ramp, you don't pay power in any of the chords. Then we're deciding to draw here with the Monastery. Sunken would have been like tap an energy draw one. It's definitely better. than Monastery. Because like we have so many energy, like we don't care about tapping energy to draw one in Fiora most of the time. We are thinking again on Sword side. Is it Warmug? One energy in Fiora is either Warmug or Sabotage. Which both of them would make sense here. Warmug to make Fiora mighty. Okay, it's unsung in BF pass. So 6 to beat the 5 of the Phoenix. Force a bigger comet and punish it with a spell, I believe. Piercing. Going to target. Oh, this is a good piercing. Unsung and Pit to try and kill both. So piercing is deal 2 to a unit at the battlefield and then deal 2 to a unit elsewhere. And then to another unit, I believe. And then like repeat 2. So it's like a pretty good call in this scenario. It's a one-off, I believe, in this list. It's kind of a worse Falling Star, but it has a repeat feature. We did use 2 reposts, I believe, on Sword side. So it looks like we don't have the third one, or we decide not to use it. And then Fiora is left alone to either try and hold that Phoenix, or yeah, most likely we're just going to push through the Arena's Greatest, get a Conquer, get to 6, trigger Rek'Sai, and then if we find, and we find a removal, we find the Vengeance, but we can't really use it though. Because we don't have enough yellow runes. Cole is going to see play the different fashion, but same end results. That Fiora is dead. We did not find the third riposte. Getting to 7 with the Phoenix, and then we are just dropping the Off-Wind base. Soul is definitely having a hard time, and Soul is scooping. Alright. Soul definitely having a hard time in this one. Interesting. I think his build did not help. I think I really don't like his builds. Maybe it's better in some matchups, but overall I think it's a bit worse. That being said, I can kind of see why this Rek'Sai deck, or how it functions at least, why it got to top 5 though, probably still is a mystery to me, but I mean, being able to control the board permanently makes sense. Can you do it consistently into a deck that has access to more accelerates? And I'm thinking like Draven, specifically. Can you win with this Rek'Sai when like the guy against you can go like, well, this one does not play Kaisa though, but can go like Darius, Kaisa, Ride the Wind, Tide Turner to like move a bunch of the stuff around, and then bargain your big spells. And when you kill something, they have Ferrous and they have tokens. I also think this kind of deck is why you want to play Ferrous in Draven, at least a 2 of. This is my list. By the way, I've not talked about Draven yet. Tonight, at least. This is my list that I played at locals last weekend. There are videos available, by the way. Let me just click there. Yeah, let's just type there, so it's fine. Catch is Riftbound. I'm dummy. Gameplay. Here we go. You have like VODs of the Draven locals if you want to see a Draven game, but from my list, which is here, let me just export a PNG. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I think there are a few changes that we could make to make it a bit better. This is definitely going down to 1 or 2 at most, because they did stuck into they got stuck into my end too much, and I probably would have loved to be able to get rid of them more and just find it when I need it because of stack, because of like stuff. Rest of it I did like. Rengor I could see cutting, but it was pretty decent. And I think I really want to play some Briners, maybe like 2 of Briner on the spot of like Blood Rush because of the Draven meta. Then the rest of it actually felt pretty good. I really did like the rest of the list. Maybe we could cut one Darius to add a bit more toolbox. Maybe Cold Shot could be decent at some point. But yeah, overall, it felt like this list was solid. It felt like this list was pretty solid. Why Grove over Targon when you play with deck in hand with Legend? Was Angle Shot useful? I talked about Grove in the guide video. The idea about Grove is more to pressure the opponent than to actually be... Oh! Thank you so much, Malo, for gifting a sub to Ite. Thank you so much for the support, brother. Much love. Much love. And congrats, Ite, on getting that free sub. Yeah, so Grove is more about the pressure. As in, like, you have to come and trade me. And if you don't, I'm going to have a lot of them extra draws. And I'm going to be able to set up in that Grove. To be fair, I feel like I probably should have played the Ramp a Rune Battlefield though. It would probably have been better. Like, it's the same kind of pressure, but sometimes I was like missing on runes, quote unquote. Whereas like I was almost never missing on draw power. But the idea was more about like creating that pressure of like, you have to come and trade me, you have to use cords. You can't just like sit still and try to reach your late game. That was kind of the idea of playing Grove. Angle was completely cracked there. Angle, be it in the mirror or in my very old strategy, was cracked. Like being able to move my equips around to like save my units, win trades, draw cords, not paying power. This was probably the better battle trick in my deck. And also, in the mirror, it was like super useful. I forced them to tap out defending, and then I just went angle, move the axe out of something, so they just lose the axe, draw one, it's free. I just get resources over time. I deal with the axe. It was pretty good. Also, I lost a game because I had too many angles in hand, but I mulliganed a long sword, and I should never have mulliganed that long sword. I should have kept that long sword. If I keep that long sword and I combine it with angle, I think I win the game. So it was like super good. Yeah, it was like super giga good. But yeah, I really do like that list. Also, it gives that extra bit of interaction that values your runes, your open runes, be it offensively or defensively. Whereas Blood Rush, defensively, is not that good, not as good as expected it to be. Because most of the time you're so aggressive that you're in the lead anyway, and so you're not the one pushing, and when you are pushing, indeed, you are pushing with stuff that's big enough to trade anyway, because you have the axes, you have the angles, you have the swords, you have the fights or the rebukes if they are bigger than you. So yeah, kind of felt like Blood Rush was not it. But the rest of it I really did like. I probably would want to bring in 2 grinders though. That would be the thing that I would change. What time is it? It's time to find a raid. Is anyone live though, is the question. Do we have any cool Riftbound streamer live that we could raid? Huh, let me check. Riftbound. Can I have the category though? Riftbound. Here it is. So we have, I believe it's Polish, Deutsch, Riftbound labbing with Tempo Mao and Miss Rabbit. Okay. Terrasadon is playing. Let's just raid Terrasadon. If you don't know Terrasadon, this guy does gameplay, which I feel like complements what I do theory-wise. And then we can have applications of what we were just talking about. Terrasadon. Also, we did raid him quite a few times, and he's been a chill dude all along, so Terrasadon, here we go. Launching the raids. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. It was a great stream. I did enjoy it. Thank you so much once again. Thank you for the follow, AQ7. I did enjoy the tier list talk with Randy. Hope you did like it as much as I did. Thank you so much for Randy for joining me on for joining me on this one. If you want to check more of Randy's stuff, feel free to check out his Metafy. He's got 3 articles there on Timo, Kaisa, and Master Yi, so feel free to check those. And with that being said, I'm going to be raiding Teresa. And also, don't forget, this Friday, starting something like 8 p.m., we're going to be live with Savages doing some set 2 gameplay on TCG Arena most likely. I'm going to be trying some funny deck. He's going to be trying some funny decks. And we're going to try and get revenge on the Victor unitless build that smacked us last week playing Ornn and Rumble. Maybe I'm bringing Irelia to try and deal with that deck of the devil. So thank you so much for being here. It was super fun. See you the day after tomorrow for some more gameplay. And up until then, if you want to see some Rebound content, you have the gameplay channel. I post a lot there, so if you want to see any gameplay videos, feel free to check. You have also the main channel in which I post guides and stuff. The EDT Tierlist is going to be there soon. With that being said,